Okay, new stream, starting over. Okay, let's see if this is looking good. Ahoy! Captain Garrett here of the Swords and Starships channel. Seeing if I can get the stream actually working today. We will see. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm checking on my end. Image looks good. Okay, cool. We are back in business. Alrighty. Now, as I was saying, we have lots to get into. But you know what's funny, my dear sailors and starnauts? What I find really amusing is when cringe scripted politicians decide to try and get into video game culture. It's super funny. Mr. Producer, do you have the clip? Do you have the clip? It was a settings issue, folks. That's why the last stream wasn't working. Where is it? This one? Oh, yeah. It's this one. Grab that clip, Mr. This is why OBS is a bit unwieldy. Nope, not that one. I am looking for this one. This is the problem with OBS. How do I resolve this issue? It's definitely something I'm going to be working on. All right. Yeah, here it is. Roll tape, Mr. Producer. That's about the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Yes. Well, enough of that. Mr. Producer, grab our first video. Okay, so I watched Daredevil Born Again, and my review is now live on the channel. So take a look. Let me just give you a brief recap of my initial thoughts. Okay, now I love the first Daredevil show. It's like one. It might be the best superhero TV show ever made. The problem is I'd have to weigh it against Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, and that is a complex task, and it's very delicate. I don't think there's really any other superhero TV shows I can think of that would beat it. I mean, it is an excellent recreation of the comic book character. I love Charlie Cox's portrayal. Vincent D'Onofrio is, bar none, the best Kingpin portrayal ever. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm very excited that there is a new season, and it doesn't appear to be written by stupid people who eat glue. And that's encouraging. And if I were to review the show based on just the first 10 minutes, and the first 10 minutes are absolutely masterful. Just masterful. The CGI leaves a little to be desired, it needs to be said. However, I'm willing to forgive that in light of the fact that there's really a kind of 3-act structure to this opening action sequence in the beginning, and it kind of tells just a brilliant story in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, it tells a brilliant Daredevil story that sets up the rest of the series. And it has twists and turns that leave you just stunned by the end. And I was like, yeah, that's what I came to see. That's what I came for. That's Daredevil. That's the Netflix show. Absolutely fantastic. And if I had just stopped there, I almost did. I almost stopped it right there, raced to this camera, and told you how freaking awesome it was. However, the show continued. Now, the good news, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it seems to be, this may sound strange to say, it seems to be written by adults. I know it's strange to have to say that in this day and age, but it appears to have been written by adults. Not like man-child millennials, such as the type that write Spider-Man or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is trash. By the way, in my Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I got raked over the coals. There is a lot of people that I don't know, a lot of commenters, I should say, that like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and none of them gave a good reason to defend it, but it just fascinated me. I was like, really? It just, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. The problem with Daredevil Born Again is it really is part of a larger problem that plagues every single TV series these days. And that problem is slow, glacial, just setup on top of setup on top of setup. And it's like they forget to tell a story. That's the only way I can put it. It's like they have all this setup. They have characters having conversations. They have characters struggling with their inner demons. They have characters considering their next move. They have supporting characters telling the protagonist what they should and shouldn't do. But along the way, there's very little movement in the story. It's what I like to call it's slow without the slow burn quality. Take Breaking Bad, for example. Breaking Bad was a slow burn, but it was never slow. Now, you could argue there's an episode or two that you can safely skip. I would say the one episode of Breaking Bad I never watch whenever I rewatch the series. I never rewatch the episode Fly. I hate that episode. It was clearly a budget-saving episode. It bores the hell out of me. I never watch it. I skip it every single time. But with outliers like that set aside, most of the time you have a long-form arc, but the single episode you're watching is telling a complete story. That's a slow burn that's never slow. The problem with modern shows, especially MCU and Disney Star Wars shows, is they are just slow. Just not a lot happens. So Daredevil Born Again is by far and away much better quality. I mean, Charlie Cox is this character. He is not acting out of character like he is the Matt Murdock we know. Vincent D'Onofrio is the Kingpin we know. But there's an awful lot of supporting characters that are kind of nagging them and telling them what they can't do. I will tell you, it's not surprising at all, the mentality of the political advisors that are advising Mayor Wilson Fisk. All they do is tell it's actually kind of amazing. So he's in his first 100 days as mayor, and he has this little what is she? I guess she's just a political advisor or like a campaign advisor or whatever. And he says, I want to talk to the police commissioner, or I want to get this done, or I want to get that done. And all she does is tell him, you can't do that, sir. Why not? Because it's only your first 100 days. The first 100 days aren't for getting things done. The first 100 days are for earning trust and keeping things stable. And I'm thinking, no wonder Democrats are losing. This is the way. No wonder they never get anything done. No wonder every single major city in this country, with few exceptions, is a cesspool rotting in homelessness and crime and just all kinds of problems, because this is the mentality. This is the mentality that they have. On your first 100 days, it's important that you get nothing done. These are the people that can never get anything done. These are the excuse people that write this crap. Anyway, not the show crap, but this dynamic in the show of it's just funny because it's so fascinating to juxtapose it with what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's the problem is Kingpin actually, it's actually really confusing because some of his goals are actually beneficials. The city is full of corrupt cops in the story. There's corrupt cops throughout. It's sort of like the Gotham City situation. There's all these corrupt cops on the take. And the Kingpin is trying to clean up the streets because there's all this crime and the cops haven't been doing anything. So he's going to clean that up. Which, the fact that he's a psychopathic murderer is, aside from that, that's a good goal. The problem is we also have the police, which we're supposed to be rooting for, which know that he's a mob boss and they don't want him to be mayor. So it's a very confusing polarity of like, who's actually the threat here? Is it the corrupt police commissioner or is it the corrupt mob mayor? Meanwhile, Matt Murdock doesn't really have a very clear objective. I always say that one of the things you must have is a protagonist and an antagonist that are at cross purposes. And other than the fact that they're suspicious of each other, I don't really feel like Fisk and Murdock have much reason to be at cross purposes. Murdock wants to expose that Wilson Fisk has not changed, but there's actually no specific goal yet that we've seen that indicates the danger to the city. And I think that's a big problem with the show. So it's a bit too slow. And I see this going a couple of different ways. On the one hand, we could be in for simply a slow burn that escalates to a really awesome, just exceptional payoff towards the end. That's best case scenario. The one I'm rooting for, incidentally. I would love nothing more than for that to be the case. Or it is like every other Disney Plus show where it has a strong to mildly good opening and it just goes off a cliff from there. Or the third option is it's just going to remain a kind of tepid, vanilla, acceptable entry into the Daredevil canon. That's actually my least wanted option. I really look. I hope that this show is I hope it's brilliant, but if it's not brilliant, I hope it's just trash so I can safely disregard it. The last thing I want is for it to be just kind of like okay. And right now, it is super, super okay. It is just a super okay show. I'm a patient man. I'm willing to give this one a chance. The opening scene was part of the rewrites, quite frankly, because it doesn't quite match the tone of the rest of the show perfectly. It feels like the most explosive, entertaining, action-packed thing that you are simply going to get in the first 2 hours of this show is that first scene. It's surprising to me that Bullseye is not primarily an antagonist. After that scene, Bullseye's not an antagonist in the show as far as an actual challenge or threat to Matt Murdock. And why would you spend 2 episodes not having a strong antagonist? Why would you do that? This is modern writing. I think that a lot of the people that were objecting to my takes on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man in the comments are people that have just forgot what storytelling used to be like in TV. They just think this is how it's supposed to be. They just think that everything has to be an origin story of an origin story of an origin story. Everything has to be setup for setup for setup. We can't have any action-packed set pieces in the first 2 episodes other than, the hook, the opening hook. We can't have any more set pieces because we have to have conversations. Even slow, when I say slow, I say even, not action-packed episodes can still be absolutely edge-of-your-seat entertaining. Taylor Sheridan is very good at this. He does this well in Tulsa King, Landman, Yellowstone. He's brilliant. He is old school that way. So we're going to take a look at a video. We're going to see what Gary over at Nerdrotic thinks of this. I haven't watched his review because I wanted my review to be done before I watched anyone else's review. So I haven't actually seen anyone else's review. I did see, I heard people's thoughts on the show, but I haven't seen any official reviews. Fu Man Blue says, ahoy, standing ready, sir. Ahoy, Fu Man Blue. Welcome aboard. Wrangler says, welcome back. Is the stream working? I think the stream is working now. It was a settings issue in OBS, but when I get done with this stream, I'm going to like record my settings checklist for next time so I don't have this issue. I just can't go back to the Restream or the StreamYard studios, though, because the sound quality is garbage. Just garbage, to use the proper French. Mr. Producer, do you have the Nerdrotic review? Excellent. So, let's get my screen share set up here. Give me the Mozilla browser. No. Hang on. Let me try that. That's the one I want. That's it. Cool. Roll tape.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Netflix's Daredevil is quite simply the best thing Disney Marvel has ever produced. The only thing on par with it is Iron Man. It was the most comic accurate as far as nailing the tone of the characters is concerned. And incidentally, it's a show that Kevin Feige had nothing to do with, so Disney in their infinite wisdom decided to unceremoniously cancel it so they could do their own versions of Netflix adaptations on their own
Let me know if the audio's too low on the videos. I'll bump it if necessary.
Platform, which admittedly were about as accurate to the source material as your average Cleopatra documentary. The thought of bringing this show back to interact with the sludge that is Marvel Phase 4 and now Phase 5 was always going to be an uphill battle, but you know what didn't help? The cameos. Who could forget Daredevil's Walk of Shame and She-Hulk? The Kingpin was defeated by not only a teenager in Hawkeye, he was also brought down by a Native American deaf amputee, and they followed that humiliation up with some more in Echo, when the Kingpin is emasculated by the deaf amputee Native American Voltron, who reconnects him with his childhood trauma so he could have a good cry. So when Disney Marvel finally decided to put Daredevil Born
that kindness and childhood trauma is how you defeat supervillains now. That's how you defeat them. That's how Captain African American. That's how he defeated Thunderbolt Ross was reconnecting him with his daughter. That's how you do it.
Again, into its initial production of 18 episodes, it looked like we were going to get more of the same. More She-Hulk rather than Netflix. And then something magical happened. The worst time strike in Hollywood's history, but in this case, it might be the best time. Kevin Feige was forced to face his failures while never acknowledging them, particularly with the flop that was The Marvels, and then releasing a show they really didn't want to, Echo, right after that. Ultimately, it was an act of desperation.
Look, folks. Farts are funny. Farts are funny. It's just a fact. It's like, going back to the ancient Greek comedies. It just is what it is.
That brought back some of the Netflix people, and they decided to reshoot and retool the entire series. So here we are 6 years later with the release of the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, or Daredevil Season 4. And the only question anyone is asking is, did Marvel shit the bed? Surprisingly, so far, no, but it's not without its controversies.
We all have many sides. Good, bad. It's not that simple. The only difference between hero and villain, salvation and destruction, is which side you're on.
But I cannot see. I'm legally blind.
Now, technically, it's Daredevil Born Again, because they've already done the Born Again storyline in Daredevil Season 3. And quite frankly, we get some repeated themes from the Netflix show. Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk are on parallel journeys to fight their inner nature. After the tragic events of the first few minutes of the very first episode that we'll get to, Matt Murdock has quit being Daredevil. And after the tragic events of Echo, not the tragic events within the show, the tragic events of the show, Kingpin has quit being Kingpin, who's been gone for a couple of years, having a good cry and has now decided to come back to his favorite city to become mayor, running on an anti-vigilante platform. But let's not bury the lead here. The thing that's got everyone riled up, and yes, this is going to be a major spoiler just in case you've been living under a rock or, to be fair, busy, is the death of our beloved Foggy Nelson. The episode opens up with a happy Karen, Foggy, and Matt heading over to Josie's bar to have a drink after work, and after Foggy receives...
And the thing I really hate about it, this scene, is that right from the jump, the music is extremely obvious. The music just makes it painfully obvious you're about to watch this happen. And it frustrated me because I'd rather you just allow me to experience the unfolding of the story without telegraphing that I'm in for tragedy.
A mysterious phone call from one of his clients that Matt can hear. Client is feeling threatened in some way, and then we cut to Bullseye. How do we know? We see him kill a fly with a paperclip, which admittedly is pretty cool. Matt, having heard the entire phone call, offers to help and goes into Daredevil mode, and we go right into superhero action. After some dodgy CGI as Daredevil jumps from rooftop to rooftop, Bullseye, who, I gotta stop right here, Disney Marvel, would it kill you to put him in a proper costume? He looks like he's in a scuba suit. Shoots Foggy Nelson and almost shoots Karen Page before Daredevil stops him. And after a lengthy and very good bar fight between Daredevil and Bullseye that's supposed to look like one cut through the magic of film, but it really wasn't. All while Daredevil is listening to Karen plead and Foggy's heartbeat gets slower and slower. They both end up on the roof beating the crap out of each other until Foggy's heartbeat stops, and then Daredevil tosses him off the building, which is a bit of a callback to Daredevil 181 after Bullseye kills Elektra. Bullseye survives probably thanks to the experimental surgery he got at the end of season 3, but unfortunately, Foggy doesn't. Or does he? More on that later. Either way, as it stands right now, people are pissed. After that, there's a 1-year time jump and the show settles down a bit, and there's some good and there's some not so good. Now, according to the Daredevil Born Again showrunner Dario Scardapane, he said the MCU series has less navel-gazing than the Netflix show. He elaborates, the early show at its best was fantastic. At its worst, it's two characters in a room talking about what a hero is.
Oh my God, that's exactly what this show is. That's exactly what's happening in the first 2 episodes. As a matter of fact, that's all that's happening in the first 2 episodes, which of course is obviously the point Gary's about to make here.
It's a strange thing to say, considering that Daredevil Born Again, the TV show, appears to be a story of Matt hitting rock bottom and then eventually donning the costume once he figures out what a hero is. And one of the best scenes in the first episode is between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk in the diner. Would that be a bit navel-gazing? The hero and the villain sit down to talk, mostly to suss
I love that scene.
Maybe understand each other, but the underlying theme of this conversation is Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk are the masks that they wear in public. And they both warn each other not to show their true selves or they'll be hell to pay. And this scene could have been 10 out of 10, just Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio acting. And I was hoping against hope they wouldn't mention any of those previous appearances in garbage D+ shows, but they had to f it up by bringing up Echo.
Didn't she shoot you in the face? Yeah.
Now that could be interpreted as the showrunners clowning Echo, and I would very much like to believe that. Unfortunately, I don't. But if it were true, 10 out of 10 for style, but minus several million for good thinking. It's better to never bring it up again. But that's one of the biggest problems with these first 2 episodes. Vincent D'Onofrio is brilliant as Kingpin. Unfortunately, he's pigeonholed into a story due to the past events of Echo and Hawkeye. Now, the Kingpin actually running for mayor, eventually winning, and then establishing himself is all pretty good. But this brings us to Vanessa. Now,
It's good, but it also is a little tough to buy because the whole episode is selling the idea that Kingpin Wilson Fisk is this, let's just face it, folks, he is clearly meant to be an allegory for a populist candidate. Well, let's just be fair and say that he's meant to be a kind of populist, he's meant to be a populist lightning rod of the likes of, let's just say, Bernie Sanders and the Orange Man, okay? He's meant to be like that. The problem is Wilson Fisk, as a mob boss, is terrifying and malevolent and exudes a kind of intimidation factor. But as a politician, you're supposed to buy that the whole city is in love with. It doesn't. It's just a tough sell, and I don't feel like the episodes really sell it. I can't quite buy him as that figure.
Very happy to find out that the original actress to play this role, who was going to be recast, but thanks to the strikes and the retooling, was brought back. But for this, they basically treat the Kingpin's return to Vanessa after a 2-year absence like Dr. Evil
Ahoy, Universal, welcome to the chat.
returning to number 2. She's essentially made Wilson Fisk's business not legitimate, but bulletproof, which allows him to run for mayor, but she's not very happy that he's back. Oh, and by the way, she had moved on to another dude. Now, one of the best parts of the Daredevil Netflix show was the relationship between Wilson Fisk and Vanessa. She was ride or die. Now, with this one, I'm taking a wait and see attitude, but I'm not entirely loving the direction, and yes, they do end up in marriage counseling, and it's very Sopranos. And they end up in counseling with Matt Murdock's new girlfriend, Heather Glenn, who is from the comics. And just to let you know, Matt Murdock's girlfriends in the comics are usually not long for this world. And on the Matt Murdock side, after this 1-year time jump, it's essentially a courtroom drama. We get to see Bullseye being sentenced.
Now, I like the courtroom drama. I am all in on that. That was actually one critique I had of the original Netflix show, was there wasn't enough of Matt Murdock being a lawyer. Like, why isn't he being a lawyer? It's all, we don't have any money. We don't have any clients. Everything's pro bono. That just annoyed the shit out of me. It's like watching Clark Kent try to become a reporter, but he never quite gets there. He never actually reports a story. He's never actually paid for any reporting. He's not really an employee at the Daily Planet. It's all just build up to him one day being a reporter. That just drives me crazy. It's nice to see some courtroom drama. There's a way to balance it. Interestingly enough, in anticipation of Dexter Resurrection coming this year, I've been rewatching the entire Dexter series and all of that. Dexter, what is it? I can never remember the Original Sin. That's right, the prequel. And the interesting thing about Dexter is that every episode is essentially a whodunit detective story. Dexter is the detective. He's always investigating his prey, which are other killers, right? Meanwhile, he has a day job as a forensic analyst, and one of the great qualities of that show is they always balanced very well his daily cover life as a forensic analyst with his secret life as this kind of self-motivated detective, right? So they could tell two stories in parallel. His legit forensic story and then his secret detective story. And I feel like the same must be true of characters with alter egos, like Daredevil, like Spider-Man, like Superman. That's one of the strengths of Lois and Clark, is that you would have Clark and Lois doing their investigative reporting on one half of the story, and the other half of the story would be Superman dealing with the bad guy. The problem with Born Again is we do get good courtroom drama. We just don't have any. We don't have Wilson Fisk being a mobster, and we don't have Matt Murdock being Daredevil. So, like Gary, I'm in wait and see mode, but it's frustrating, to say the least.
And Paige moves to San Francisco, and then we meet the White Tiger, a character I always loved as a kid because they had a cool costume. Now, when
yeah, no spoiling, Universal. Not all of us have the benefit of seeing ahead. We're on the Disney schedule.
Hector Ayala was going home from work out of costume, he saw a couple of dudes attacking somebody and tried to break it up, and he accidentally kills one of them, and it turns out that they were cops who didn't identify themselves. And now Matt has to defend the White Tiger while he's locked up in Rikers. And this is the courtroom drama portion of it, and what could have been incredibly boring wasn't. Now, unfortunately, Matt knows that Hector is telling the truth due to his senses, but he can't prove it, so they need to find the guy that the unidentified cops attacked. Matt gets to the witness just before the dirty cops show up, and they end up getting the shit kicked out of him by a Matt Murdock who gave into his inner nature. And the biggest takeaway,
and that was rad. Like, full stop. That was rad.
is one of them had a tattoo with the Punisher logo. And this brings us to the first of one of my few concerns. What are they going to do with the Punisher logo? We already know Marvel Comics has moved away from it because it was being used by the police and military. Apparently, they don't have a problem with all the gang members who use it, but that being said, it's of course the outdated political correctness gone wild, willing to ditch one of the most iconic comic book logos ever. So I guess we will see on that front. Then there's the new characters who range from it's fine to they don't even need to be in the show. The aforementioned Heather Glenn, who again is from the comic books, she's fine. Michael Gandolfini as Wilson Fisk's Gen Z assistant is all right. Then there's the characters from the new law firm, Cherry and Kirsten McDuffie, who isn't my favorite character from the comics or in this. And Bibi Urich, Ben Urich's niece. None of these characters need to be in the show, and if they didn't exist, you wouldn't miss them. Fortunately, they don't bring it down because of the presence of Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox. But considering that this is the Disney subsidiary who decided that Zendaya would be a good MJ, it does feel like a very current MCU thing to do, but there is no world where Cherry and McDuffie could replace Karen and Foggy. Speaking of Foggy Nelson and his untimely death, I want you to remember that even Charlie Cox came out and questioned this decision prior to the show coming out.
At the beginning of this episode of this season, there's a very traumatic event which is gonna change Matt Murdock's life. It's brutal. I'm still not convinced it's the right thing to do, but we have to come back big and bold. You know, we got to make a statement after all these years away.
And Marvel themselves were very nervous about it.
It led to many impassioned debates. I'll put it to you that way. It's honestly nobody wanted to do it, and including me.
And you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. Wow, if there was that much doubt, you shouldn't have done it. Because you can't, obviously you could just write that the character didn't really die. You can write that. But if you really kill off a character, you can't get him back.
So to all of you who are rightfully upset, I've got some good news for you if you're willing to hear it. Well, keep in mind that this is a comic book adaptation and dead people come back all the time. And also keep in mind that in the comics, Foggy has faked his death. And apparently Marvel was so nervous about it, they decided to spoil season 2 by announcing that Karen Page and Foggy Nelson will return.
I see Karen and Foggy as being, intrinsically tied to Matt. I don't think there's, a Matt Murdock story without those two characters. And I'm excited to see them both in season 2 as well.
And if he thinks Karen and Foggy are
gee, here I am telling Universal not to spoil.
Physically tied to Matt, which they are in this show. I don't think you could pull that off with flashbacks, but we'll see. Now, I think one guy on Twitter said that there was a lack of religious iconography or religious tones and themes, and that's absolute bullshit. It's not as much as the Netflix series so far, but the Catholicism is there. This brings us to the Wilson Fisk mayor as Trump comparisons. Aside from being a populist, I don't see it yet. But if they turn the Wilson Fisk Kingpin character into a Trump caricature, I'll be the first to let you know.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're portraying him as a populist, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a Trump comparison. But what I do see is they are definitely portraying the voters of New York as kind of stupid and foolish for voting for him. Why are they voting for him? Because they're all sick of criminals. They're sick of criminals, causing mayhem in the streets, and they're sick of politicians who won't do anything about it. But the show seems to cast them as a bunch of fools that are just going off a cliff because how dare they? How dare they want their city to actually be safe? So it's a bit strange, the moral polarity of the show. Look. Honestly, I wouldn't really care if I had more in the plot to chew on, but this is really all the tension in the show. This is pretty much the entire tension of the show right now is kind of a bad guy became mayor and might do some bad stuff maybe. Okay, but there needs to be a clearer sense of the danger.
I mean, never mind the fact that the Kingpin would be a more trustworthy and honorable mayor than most American cities have right now. Guess I'm just saying on the Hollywood Trump scale from, let's say, 1 to the boys, it's a 2. Now, would I put it past Hollywood and specifically Disney to imprint their TDS on Kingpin? No, I wouldn't. Do I blame fans for seeing Kingpin as just the latest Trump allegory? Absolutely not. Disney Marvel has earned this ire, and they never deserve your benefit of the doubt. It is not up to the audience, which is also known as the paying customer, to blindly accept everything you put out just because you said you're trying this time. Hate to break this to you, Disney Marvel. You're the ones who did the damage to your brand, and it's your job to win some people back. That being said, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I watched a Marvel show for D+, and it didn't completely suck. It was actually pretty good. It's not as good as the Netflix Daredevil, and it's not as good as Penguin, but they got the tone right. It is the most earnest thing Disney Marvel has done since Infinity War. Now, for those of you who might be confused,
I 100% agree. I actually think it's the best thing since Spider-Man No Way Home so far. It's the best thing I've seen from Marvel since No Way Home.
am I recommending that you sign up for Disney Plus? Hell no.
Tortuga.
So Disney didn't Amber Heard to bed with Daredevil Born Again, and that's a win, but don't get cocky. There is a saying in Hollywood, you're only one good project from turning things around, but not in the case of Disney Marvel. Why don't you string together 2 hits in a row for the first time in 6 years, and then we can talk.
Nerderotic.com.
Brilliantly put.
If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will.
Nice. That would be Gary over at Nerdrotic with a brilliant analysis. Analysis, as he would say. I am cautiously optimistic at this point. However, yeah, look, in order for me to assure you that this show is worth your time, I have to see all 8 episodes. I really do. Nothing would make me happier than to be racing to this camera after episode 3. Episode 3 is always kind of the big one with a D+ show. That's always the one that is like the worst thing you've seen, or that was the power of one, power of many. That was episode 3. It's always episode 3. So we'll see. I'd love to be able to race to the camera and tell you that it's just awesome. But that remains to be seen. Okay, quick break, and the captain will return. And we are back. So, Daredevil Born Again. I must tell you, it is a great surprise to actually watch a Disney Plus show and have it be just written by adults. Just written by mature professionals. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen that. It's a strange feeling. Now, that being said, it has a ways to go before it's proven itself. I am intrigued by the White Tiger plot, though. I think that should be good. Fu Man Blue says, you're sure that Foggy is still alive? You're probably right. You're probably right. Okay, what's next in the stack of stuff? I have 2 that I'm itching to get to. Okay, so if you don't know, Rachel Zegler is absolutely radioactive. She has her meltdown has the fact that she's the most unlikable actor in Hollywood, which is an impressive achievement, is basically destroying all of Disney's hopes of Snow White being a success. I'm fascinated by this. This is one of the few. I didn't want to watch, what was the one? War of the Rohirrim. You inflicted that on me, my dear chat. I had no desire to see War of the Rohirrim, and that's probably the worst. Wow, what was the worst movie experience I had? Probably The Crow. Probably The Crow was the worst movie experience I've had. But second to that was War of the Rohirrim. My God, I wanted that movie to end so bad. It was so stupid. What was my point, Mr. Producer? Oh, yeah. I was dreading seeing War of the Rohirrim. I was dreading seeing, what was the other stinker that I watched? Gladiator Folie à Deux. Gladiator Folie à Deux. I am eager and excited, ready, willing, and able to watch Snow White. I am excited to watch this. I'm going to make a day of it. I'm going to get a big bowl of popcorn, get a mani-pedi, just really treat myself. Because I want to have a front row seat to the final destruction of Disney. Well, maybe not the final destruction of Disney, but it ain't looking good, folks.
Disney's Snow White. Rachel.
Okay, hang on. Not yet, Mr. Producer. Star Fury is in the chat. Well, look what the cat dragged in. Star Fury arrives in the chat. Says, "Hi everyone. How shit was Daredevil? Why Star Fury?" You just missed it. It's all right. We've had kind of a shit show on the Captain's Cast today because I'm still figuring out some OBS settings issues. Let me bring you up to speed, Star Fury. I actually have, again, if you haven't seen it, on this very channel, Swords and Starships, my review of Daredevil Born Again episodes 1 and 2 is live, and to give you the cliff notes, I'm giving it a 7 bars out of 10 on the epaulets for the first 2 episodes. The opening scene is excellent, barring a little bit of dodgy CGI. Other than the bad CGI, it's really brilliant and a lot of fun, also very haunting, and it sets the tone. The problem is what follows is a slow burn without the burn. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's that the stakes in the show are still a little tepid. Charlie Cox is nailing it as Matt Murdock. Vincent D'Onofrio is, as ever, Wilson Fisk. You know, he looks too thin, though. He used to look like a big, fat bully, and he doesn't look like a big, fat bully in this, and that bothers me. I forgot to mention that in my review because it just didn't occur to me, but that does bug the hell out of me because one of my favorite parts of the Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin is he looked fat. He should look fat. Like scary fat. Like not the harmless kind of fat. Like the scary, like, oh my God, there's no stopping that thing. That's how he's supposed to look. And he kind of looks, he looks strangely normal in this show, which is kind of, that tamps down a little bit of the fact. But other than that, he's portraying the very same character he portrayed. It's pretty grounded. It's pretty well written. The dialogue is pretty good. It's just a little too slow paced. I'm hoping that it's set up for some really good payoffs. I think Bullseye should just be in the fucking show. He should just be in it. Why isn't he? Sumo fat. Exactly, Wrangler. That precisely my point. Precisely my point. So it's not shit, Star Fury, is my answer to you. It's not shit. But there is shit that we have to deal with. Where is my screen, Mr. Producer? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Yes. Oh my God! Oh, jeez! Roll tape!
has broke her silence after insulting Trump voters. The 23-year-old actress said she hoped Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace after he won the election.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
They told you
well,
you'd be
it's
tired
true.
of winning, and they're wrong. So much winning over here, I lost my face hair. Hopefully it's not AIDS, boys, but I'm not a lefty, so it's definitely not AIDS. Maybe it's my massive amount of testosterone beating back this hair.
By the way, hail salty cracker!
Anyhow, here's a chick with a massive amount of testosterone in her mouth. Look at the size of that mouth, Abe.
Weird.
Chick looked like a female equivalent of Baba Booey over here. Ta-ta toothy Snow White being hidden. Because, of course, she's a gigantic walking clusterfuck. That's right. We have destroyed Disney. We fixing the world, boys. We're making the world right again.
We have inflicted defeat after defeat after defeat on Disney, and we are getting ready. We're getting warmed up. We're getting warmed up for the next massive failure. Oh, Snow White's going to be biblical, man. It's going to be awesome. Are you celebrating Disney failing? Are you celebrating the failure of all those stunning and brave creatives? Why, yes, I am, dear hypothetical shill.
We're taking all your stupid woke video games and we breaking them. Your movies break.
Oh, that's why Star Fury showed up, to harass me about this. Well, fair enough. I deserve it. Star Fury says, have you started watching Solo Leveling yet? Now there is a show that just keeps getting better. Is it in the first season, Star Fury? Because if you're telling me I'm already 5 seasons behind, that's daunting. I'm not lying to you. But I will. All right. It's on my list. I have so much shit. I have a friend, an IRL friend of mine, who is on me to watch Attack on Titan. Meanwhile, I've been meaning to review Invincible Season 3, and I haven't even started it. And I'm trying to maintain this pace of at least one YouTube video a week. And you're telling me I have to watch Season 2 only. Okay, fair enough, Starfield. It's only Season 2 of Solo Leveling. Now everyone's on me about Solo Leveling. It does sound good. I need a good anime. It's been a long time since I had a good anime. Maybe I'll show you a trailer from one of my favorite animes later, just for fun, just for shits and giggles. Roll tape, Mr. Producer.
Making them your streaming services or shows, there's all this stupid crap that you idiots have propagandized. We breaking them.
Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
The Big Lebowski. If you have not seen The Big Lebowski, you have got to watch it. So there's a few kinds of comedy in the world, okay? There's the type of comedy where, you know, it's like dialogue. It's like characters saying funny things. There's like visual gags. There's like, just funny set pieces. Then there's the type of comedy where like, it's like layers. It's like layers building on layers. So this seemingly innocuous event, this slightly stupid reaction to that event, this somewhat harebrained plan to deal with that reaction leads to just this snowball effect. And then one of the most ridiculous things you've ever seen happens. And it's so funny that you can't stop laughing. That's The Big Lebowski. There is a scene in The Big Lebowski. You can't even describe it because you'd have to tell the audience every single thing leading up to. So anyway, Big Lebowski, check it out. You won't regret it.
We've done curb stomped the mouse so bad that
you're out of your element, Donnie.
Hiding the chick who's brown, who's playing the chick who's as white as snow, which is hilarious. They do this on purpose, obviously.
Neutron Pack is in the chat. Says Solo Leveling is pretty good and the webtoon is complete too. Okay, fair enough.
So they can
also, what is a webtoon?
Scream racism. When the movie sucks and nobody watches it, then you go, well, you guys didn't watch it because you're racist. You didn't want a brown Snow White. It's just that's stupid. It's just a stupid thing to do. I mean, it's literally called Snow White because her skin is as white as snow. You got this chick over here who's she's brown. I've married a brown chick. I ain't got a problem with brown chicks. I got a problem with you guys being fucking stupid asshole race baiters. Anyway, lose money on it, scumbags.
This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass, Larry.
Here you've got the Daily Mail, and they're saying that Disney won't be having a Snow White UK premiere in an attempt to avoid anti-woke backlash to the controversial adaptation. So they're not going to have a premiere in the UK for this tentpole Disney clusterfuck.
If they wanted to avoid an anti-woke backlash, they would cancel and mothball this movie and make it a tax write-off. That's what they would do. I don't even actually understand this. Why cancel your UK premiere? It's in the UK. Like, there's not going to be any problems. Yeah, of course, the internet's going to roast it, but that's happening anyway. Over 1 million dislikes on this trailer. It's like the most disliked trailer in the history of trailers. She's just awful. She is literally the archetypal spoiled brat is Rachel Zegler. Everyone universally despises her. She's entitled, narcissistic, arrogant, snotty. Nobody likes her. Nobody wants this movie. And on top of all of that, we hate. I'm not saying we, the fellowship. I'm not saying we who are tired of the wokeness. I'm saying we, the audience writ large. We are tired of these stupid, derivative, live-action remakes of better movies. It's lame. We are tired of these corporatized, written by committee, just regurgitations. More than anything else, that's what's driving this. More than the wokeness, more than the snotty, irritating actress, more than any of that. What is driving this backlash at the core bedrock layer, what is driving this is we fucking hate these stupid live-action remakes. They're stupid. We don't want any more of them. And we've told you every single time they announce one, we're doing another live action. We don't want it, Disney. Why do you do this to us? Why are you doing this to what did we ever do to you? That's what's really the engine. That's the engine that is driving the hatred for this Snow White film. Now, everything that's layered on top of that is that's just the snowball effect, right? Because this pressure has been building, okay? Disney has destroyed every single brand they have. They've destroyed Marvel, they've destroyed Star Wars, they've destroyed Pixar, and they've destroyed their own animated brand. They released this trash movie, Mufasa. Nobody needed an origin story for Mufasa. Nobody wanted that. Nobody needed that. It failed. It failed. Because of course it did. Because of course it did. And so this pressure just keeps building until finally you have the perfect storm. You have another one of these soulless remakes. But it's not just any remake. It is a remake of the film that founded Disney. One of the most beloved classics. One of the most innocent. Seriously. Snow White is one of the most innocent, harmless classics in the canon of Disney. It should have pride of place in their canon. It should be the most sacrosanct product that they have. It's like childhood itself. There's nothing bad about it. It's perfectly safe, harmless, and beloved by all. Even as dated as it is, it's still simple, great. You put it on for the kids. It's a classic. So not only is it another soulless remake, but it's a soulless remake of the Disney movie, the most harmless. It's like ice cream. It's like kittens. It's like balloons. It literally is a symbol of the innocence and joy and happiness of childhood. And they're gonna squeeze it through the Disney algorithm wood chipper and shit out another live action. So that's strike number one. Strike number two. They go and get a stunning and brave woman of color to play Snow White because fuck you, fans. You want a lore accurate Dutch fairy tale to be adapted with the titular Snow White? Screw you. That's basically what they said. Screw you, you bigots. We hate you. We hate you. I hate you. Then, not only is that actress a stunning and brave woman of color, and how dare you insist of a European ancestry for a European fable to be recreated. But she turns out to be a B.I. of the First Order. And she goes out there. She's snotty. She's entitled. She's narcissistic. She's a brat. She is an ungrateful brat in the most entitled industry in the world. The most luxurious, entitled, elitist industry in the world. She's worse than all of them. And the worst part is she claims in her red carpet interviews that the sweetest, most innocent, most classic, happy, unoffensive to anyone fairy tale animated film of all time, well, it was made in 1937. Ew, gross. Very evidently so. And all this nonsense about a man loving a woman, well, that's not in it. She doesn't give a crap about any of that. And she starts shitting all over it. And it's like she's punching the kitten. She's popping the balloon. She's taking away the candy from the baby. She's insulting the most uninsultable thing in the freaking world. Then Disney releases, a leak comes out of the 7 magical people because in the DEI Orwellian hellscape that the left attempted to enslave us in, we can't have dwarves because that's offensive, you bigot. Well, I just think that the dwarves should be dwarves. Screw you, give me that squirrel. You know what I mean? And then they get caught. They get caught with these 7 super diverse hippies that they're gonna put in the movie as what? Instead of dwarves, it's gonna be magical people. You've DEI'd. You've politically corrected the classic. Oh, no, we didn't. And then they revise it into these hellish nightmare fuel CGI monstrosities, and we hate it even more. And then they're like, too bad, we're releasing it. It's like, it's just a tree. It's incredible. Disney has literally, this is what they're messing with. This is my point. Disney is messing with people's childhoods. That's what they're doing. There's nothing in the world more primal. There's nothing, it would be like if your favorite comfort food, mine is pancakes, because my mama, to use J.D. Vance's term, my mama made pancakes for me when I was a kid. They literally equal happiness to me. It doesn't matter the situation. If I'm eating pancakes, I'm a little happier. And it would be like if RFK Jr. came and banned all pancakes because it's bad for you and it's going to give you colon cancer. And screw you. I should stop doing that. I'd be very mad. This is probably... Mr. Producer, is this a good analogy? I don't know. I want your honest opinion. Of course there won't be any retaliation. This is a safe working environment. Mixed metaphor. Doesn't really fit. Well, who fucking asked you anyway? All right, forget him. Anyway, my point is, they are screwing with the things that make people the happiest at their primal core. And when you screw with that, you are headed for a fall. So I think the wokeness of the wokey wokes, that's the least driving factor. It's definitely a factor, a big factor, but it is not the driving energy behind the hatred of this film. It is that they are messing with something innocent. Something that did nothing bad to anyone. That would be the original animated Snow White film. You don't have to love the original Snow White film. If you don't like it, that's fine. Nobody's saying you have to like it. It's kind of a quaint old film. Nobody cares if you like it or not. But don't mess with it. Like, don't mess with it. Because it's a childhood memory, man. I saw it about 1,000 times when I was a kid, and I never liked it, even as a kid. But so what? So what? It's still part of the fabric of childhood. It's innocent. Let it be that. Rachel Zegler destroyed that. Yeah. And they are going down hard. Universal saying, what's everyone's comfort food? Enter it in the chat. What is your comfort food? I'll go first. Pancakes with butter and maple syrup. None of that poison. What the fuck is a boysenberry anyway? A boysenberry, raspberry, blueberry, garbage. There we go. I went first. Now, Fu Man Blue says punching the kitten. Laugh my fucking. It's not funny, Fu Man Blue. Don't laugh at that. Webtoon is manga in Korea, says Neutron Pack. Universal says, obviously, Disney had their internal meetings and have doubled down on the female demographic saving this movie. Look, whatever the reason, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who knows? I could be dead wrong about it, and it's going to succeed wildly and be awesome. All right, roll tape.
Are you guys worried that Republicans are going to go down there and pay taxes? You're worried about Republicans going down to this area and going to work and going to... No. You're worried about crazy meth head goofball leftards setting the place on fire because this is a Hamas terrorist sympathizer in this movie.
She is!
I love this. I love every second of this. And so they're like, can we just not have a premiere? Yeah, that makes a lot... Look at this. This movie cost them $270 million. And you know they lowballing it, right? Because they ain't going to make any of this money back. You know, the accounting on this is shifty as hell. And so they probably spent a good $325 million at least on this stupid movie. And that's before they even start dumping money into promoting this crap hole that they don't want to promote. Hence, no premiere. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be a massive amount of money losing over here. And again, we did this. So don't be all upset at the wrong people, lefties. No, you be upset at the right people. We're burning all of your shit down. And unlike you lefty groups out there, you guys love setting shit on fire. But you don't build anything. You don't create anything. You set all your shit on fire. You go, oh my God, where's my CVF? Oh my God, I can't believe that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you burned them down, idiots. When we burn shit down, we build shit up first, right? We build people up like Geeks and Gamers, so I'll watch all of the funny stuff over there. I'll watch Jeremy from the Quarter and make fun of this stupid shit. I'll watch Nerdrotic make fun of this stupid shit over here. I'll watch Doomcock make fun of this stupid shit over here. Yeah, we built all those dudes up, so we got plenty of stuff to watch, plenty of stuff to enjoy. While we burn your shit down.
You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the air? That's what happens.
While we go to your woke areas,
okay.
Woke cities over.
It's totally irrelevant to the salty cracker video. But that scene in Big Lebowski, he has wrong information, and the car he's trashing, he's wrong. He falsely believes the guy that's the car of the guy that they're after, and it's not. So he's destroying an innocent guy's car. It's pretty great.
Here, we torch the fuck out, firebomb the shit out of those places, and laugh while we do it, boys. Bow, 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 bow. So here you go. You idiots, here you can have this stupid piece of shit. Nobody cares about this. This is going to be hilarious to watch on, again, everybody that I love watching. That's one of the most anticipated and expensive films of the year. This is a massive victory. I can't express to you. I can't express to you how great this is. Guys, look at what we've done over here. Look at what we've done. Just by mocking these dumb fuckers. They've got a massive, gigantic Disney movie. It's massive. It's huge. They're not even going to premiere it in the UK because we beat the fuck out of them so bad. They're so worried that this son of a bitch over here is going to encourage terrorists to pop off. You might get an Aloha snack bar at this event.
An Aloha snack bar?
Waving a Palpatinian flag.
Aloha snack
Jeremy
bar.
from the corner is saying that they're worried that this dumb bitch is going to say something stupid. I don't know. Listen,
I haven't heard that.
Chances are she'll probably say something stupid. Ta-ta toothy over here. But they got this chick on a leash. They're making her apologize for her. She came out. She attacked all the Trump supporters. Remember this?
He made a brilliant point here. The Salty Cracker made a genius point. You know, obviously, in a war, the obvious way to win a war is a major offensive, which, you know, invades the enemy's territory and dismantles it and you know, taking territory and conquering cities and things like that, taking away their resources. That's the obvious way to win a war. But there's another tactic. And it's used very often in defensive warfare. And a great example comes to mind, Stalingrad. In World War II, you create a sink in which blood and treasure and armies go in and nothing comes out, right? Just a drain on the enemy's resources. You create a quagmire that they just pour resources into without end and they just lose it all. That's what Stalingrad was. Literally, the German army sacrificed hundreds of thousands of troops for a strategically worthless city. Because, the Mustache Man was obsessed with it. He was obsessed with it because it had the name Stalin in it. It was strategically worthless. And his generals begged him to leave. Just let it go. Forget about it. But he wouldn't listen to him because he was like, no, you're going to take the city. And so the Russians turned it into a meat grinder. Germans went in one end and meat came out the other. That's a way to destroy an enemy. That's the point that Salty Cracker just made. This is what we're doing to Disney. We've become a kind of cultural Stalingrad. They want to defeat us. They want to defeat anyone who likes traditional classical storytelling. They want to defeat anything that is culturally positive towards classical Western civilizational values, classical American values. You know, simple things, family, hard work, being a good person. Crime is bad, don't do it. That sort of thing. You know, normal stuff. The kind of stuff the wackos don't believe in. They believe in the exact opposite of all those things. And in their efforts to discredit our time-tested morals, values, and interests, they have poured huge amounts of resources, marketing, social media, puff pieces and articles, in astronomical film budgets, reshoots, recasting, rebranding. They've just poured and poured and poured all of these resources into a pit. And you know where it went? Nowhere. In the culture war, we are bleeding Disney white. That's the point that Salty just made, and it's brilliant. That's
on Instagram.
That's what Snow White represents. This represents a kind of Stalingrad for Disney. They have poured so much into this, and they can't get out of it. They can't. The generals are begging Disney to get out of it. Disney won't listen. That would be Bob Iger. Who knows? Maybe Bob Iger is begging it. Oh, can we get out of this? No, we can't. Because if we cancel this movie, we're canceling a stunning and brave Hamas supporting actress.
You guys are assholes. Yeah, we are assholes. That's fine. We love being assholes. You're a bunch of monstrous pieces.
I mean, I don't love being an asshole, but if you have to be.
This is shit, but you tell everybody how much you love everybody. You guys lie to everybody. We ain't lying to everybody. I'm an asshole. Fuck you. Spit on your face, you dumb whore.
See what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
So will she say something stupid? If there's a red carpet event, they're asking her questions. Chances are she's a good little whore, and she'll do what.
No, okay. Thanks, Salty. Appreciate the report. Really good stuff, man. Gotta go. Jeez. Was that on YouTube, Mr. Producer? Yeah, I thought so. Wrangler says peanut butter M&Ms. Oh, that's a great choice. We're talking comfort food. Universal says steak and spud for me. Classic. It's very American meal there. Starfury says homemade cheeseburger with proper relish and all the fixins. Proper cheddar cheese. Excellent choice, Starfury. Shout out Salty Crackers, says Fu Man Blue. Yes, it's so rare that there's a video relevant to the Swords and Starships channel that I can share with you. Pizza or nachos are Fu Man Blue's comfort food. Used to love the Tostitos jarred cheese, but I checked it the other day and it has poisonous yellow dye in it, so I had to give it up. I feel better already. Yeah. That yellow dye is made from coal tar. Isn't that incredible? What the hell is wrong with... Look, what the hell is wrong with us Americans? Why do we synthesize coal tar and use it to color our food? What the hell, man? What the hell? We should have never left the British Empire. It was a mistake. I admit it. What's next in the stack of stuff? So I think I want to do... There is trouble brewing, chat. And we need to talk about it.
Now shall you deal with me, O prince, and all the powers of hell!
That's right, there's trouble brewing, chat. Matt Walsh has discovered Lord of the Rings and wants to talk about it. Okay, this is trouble brewing. This is trouble brewing. That's the wrong link, Mr. Producer. You're fired. No, I'm kidding. Don't leave. Please don't. I need you. All right. Here it is. Now, I have not seen this. I have no idea what he's going to say. So, what am I doing wrong? Did I put the wrong link in there? No, I did not. Copy. Paste. There we go.
Matt, I agree with you that The Brutalist is slow and way too long. However, each Lord of the Rings movie is 3.5 hours long or longer, and that's more than justified. But I'll concede that no other movie has any right to be that long.
A lot of comments about this too, saying, I said no movie should be 3.5 hours long, like The Brutalist, that awful movie was, and a few attempts to come up with exceptions to the rule, and Lord of the Rings was mentioned by several people. Sorry, not only is Lord of the Rings not an exception, but it's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
And you know what this dwarf says to that?
Okay, so let's just take Return of the King, which I think was the longest one of all three movies. And I like those movies, by the way. But the theatrical release of Return of the King was about 3.5 hours. It was about what The Brutalist is.
And it was not long enough. That movie, I could have sat there for 4 more. I love that movie. So I'll be damned if I let him see that he's made me angry.
Extended cuts that are 4.5 hours long, which is just obscene. That's offensive. I'm offended. If I pick up the Blu-ray, not that I would.
No, it's not offensive. It's perfection, Matt. It's perfection. 12 hours. It only pains me to think that there's not 12 more hours. It's painful for me to realize that there are only ever going to be 11 hours and 45 minutes of Lord of the Rings film in the world. That's a difficult thought for me to bear, quite frankly, because that's it. That is the only 12 hours of Lord of the Rings that does exist or will exist. That would be the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy. That 12 hours is the most we can ever have. And I'm grateful that we have it. That's all I'm saying.
Watch Blu-ray anymore, and it says 4.5 hours long. I'm offended by that. That's so insanely long. How do you...
Star Fury says Matt Walsh can fuck himself with a broom sideways. Yes! Yes! Get him, Star Fury! Get him! That's what we like to hear.
That you would dare even sell that you would put that on the shelf for anyone to watch. 4.5 hours? So, but no, let's just take 3.5 hours. That was way too long. Okay? That, you could have cut, Return of the King, you could have cut at least 45 minutes out of that movie. At least 40.
Okay, here's exactly why Matt Walsh's point here is just catastrophically wrong. The reason, Matt, let me explain something to you, Matt. I'm educating Matt Walsh. Okay. The reason the film is only 3 hours and 21 minutes long is because 27 hours of incredible, epic, literary, foundational book storyline was cut out. The reason the film is not 29.7 hours long is because of how much was cut out of the story in order to make it a viable work of cinema. So he's completely ass backwards here. He completely fails to understand that 3 hours and 21 minutes is it's a rock bottom minimum. And the extended cut films, which are 4 hours long each, those are a more acceptable minimum. Okay? This is why I lament the fact that we only have 12 hours of Lord of the Rings cinema that are extant, as opposed to 78 hours.
45 minutes, and it would have been a better movie. And if you cut 45 minutes, it's still a movie that's 2 hours and 45 minutes long. It's still a long movie.
It's not supposed to be a good movie. It's supposed to be The Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings transcends cinema.
Can you just cut it down from epic marathon length to very long? Can we just make that? It would be a better movie.
Was. That's my point. It was cut down to just very long.
The movie has 3 endings. Let's start with that. Okay, pick one ending. I mean, the movie really ends.
It had no fewer or no more endings than it needed. It had precisely as many endings as it needed, sir.
With Frodo and Sam, they're stranded on the rock and the lava's all around. And
look this. Allow me to shoot a giant hole right through. I'm just going to bullseye right through Matt Walsh's argument here. He says there were too many endings. You should have shaved it down. Why is the Scouring of the Shire not in The Return of the King? Why is it not in there? It's a very beloved part of the novels. If you don't know, The Scouring of the Shire refers to a kind of epilogue at the end of Return of the King after Sauron has been defeated and everything is good again. The hobbits return to their home, the Shire, only to find that the evil wizard Saruman has taken it over and has enslaved the hobbits, and they have to save the Shire from Saruman. The Scouring of the Shire. They cut that out of the ending of the film. Why did they do that? Well, because, to Matt Walsh's very point, it would have added, it would have stepped on the climax that had already been resolved in the film. It would have stepped on that climax, and it would have been confusing, and it would have ruined the pacing of the film. And so that ending was not put in it. Which is my way of expressing that it's perfect, Matt. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
The bird comes and picks them up, and as many
so
many people, of course, have pointed out, and it is true, it's a major plot.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry on stream. Oh, this film is such a masterpiece. This moment in the film, of course, obviously, seeing it out of context doesn't do it justice, but this moment in the film is truly miraculous.
Just ride the bird to Mordor.
I get this same question, why didn't they just fly the eagles to Mordor? You know, shut up.
It could have been 30 minutes total.
Well, he's right. I've heard good reasons before, but I can't remember them. I mean, there are good reasons. There are answers to this question. But just to shoot from the hip here for a second, what I would say is Sauron would be planning for that. We actually saw that the Nazgul, they were already looking for anyone in possession of the ring. So that's number one. In fact, even anyone on foot, on horseback, on eagles, on dragons, it would not matter. There is almost no person in all of Middle-earth that could ever have succeeded in keeping the ring from Sauron. Basically, no one possibly could have succeeded. Why? Because the ring was pure evil. It had the ability to enslave the mind of anyone that held it, because it was able to use their own desires against them. That's why Gandalf couldn't carry it, because it would twist him into an evil wizard and channel his power for its own use. Any human that carried it would be tempted by power. Even with good intentions, they would be tempted by its power, such as Isildur, who tried to take it for himself and couldn't destroy it. Elrond, the wise elf that he was, Galadriel, wise and fair and beautiful, she couldn't take it either because it would corrupt her. It is absolute power, and it corrupts absolutely. Sauron knew this. So that's number one. Number two is the Eye of Sauron sees pretty much everything in Middle-earth and is always looking for him. And he would have expected almost any attempt to use the ring, he would have anticipated. In fact, that's precisely the weakness the hobbits exploited. The one variable that Sauron could not account for was in his eyes, a weak, irrelevant little people known as hobbits who have very little interest in things like power or wealth or status. All they like is farming and having a good time. That's it. Family, friends, beer, having a good time. Growing things in gardens. That's all hobbits really care about. They don't need power. They don't need thrones. They don't need magical dominance in the world. So they are resistant, not immune, but resistant to the evil of the ring. Secondly, he could never have anticipated that they would attempt to destroy it, because the ring by its very nature tempts you to use it. So he couldn't envision anyone that would rather destroy the ring than keep it. Now, if they had tried to get on an eagle and just fly, Sauron would have spotted that from a mile away, and he would have sent his Nazgul riders and he would have took them down. And who knows? Maybe the ring would have tempted the eagles to just Eat the hobbits. The eagles would have been like, I want that ring. It's grrr. And eat the hobbit. Oh, there he goes. Frodo's little legs kicking as he goes down. And then the eagle would have just flew the ring to Sauron. So no, 2 tiny little hobbits, almost invisible in the world, without any ambition that the ring could use against them. It was the one little back door to defeating Sauron that he just couldn't see because of his greed and his avarice and his power. And even with all of that, the ring still succeeded in corrupting Frodo in the end. Just the towering magnificence of this story is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how what a towering achievement in fiction The Lord of the Rings is. Matt Walsh. Roll tape, Mr. Producer. The captain will reserve comment.
If they just hopped on the bird, go drop the ring off in the volcano or whatever, and they'd be fine. But fine. So the bird.
Yeah, exactly. Star Fury says if an eagle had made a beeline to Mordor, they would have been taken out by the 9 kings on their drakes. Precisely. He would have sent out the Nazgul riders on their drakes and taken them out. In fact, it would have been kind of obvious. That would have been an obvious way to try and destroy the ring, is to get on an eagle.
Bird picks them up, and they're flying away on the bird into the sunset.
There is a secondary reason, which is eagles are not slaves. The eagles in the story are intelligent beings with concerns of their own, and they are doing a favor for a friend. They are not horses to be ridden and commanded at will. So that's kind of the other issue, but we'll leave that aside. That's a secondary reason why you don't just fly the eagles anywhere you want.
You know, last shot, you've got they're flying away from, you get the lava and everything, and Mordor is collapsing. But then you see them on the bird, and they're going off into the distance, and you see it's green and green pastures ahead, and it's a great closing shot, and it tells you everything you need to know. We don't need to then see, oh, now he's laying in bed.
Absolutely fucking incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. I award you 0 points, and everyone is now dumber for having listened to you say this, Matt Walsh. Absolutely everyone is now dumber for having heard this. Mr. Producer, I need this clip. I need this clip right now, because if you ended the film there, okay, you would have missed out on this scene. Okay. Here we go. I'm probably taking a little bit of a risk here. Okay, good. No, I'm not getting any warnings on that. All right, good. We got to pause on that one for a second. Give me this one, Mr. Producer. Roll tape.
My friends.
You bow to no one.
Oh, man, you would have lost that. You would have lost that moment. That's like one of the best moments in the film, because they saved the world. They saved the world from enslavement. That's why they bow to no one. Roll tape.
And he's meeting, he sees his friends again, and he's happy, and he's jumping on the bed and hugging them.
God dies.
We get like 5 scenes after the end of people congratulating Frodo. Which, again, we get it. And it's even more grating because Frodo didn't even do a good job in the first place. He whined like a baby the entire time. And then he tried to turn back at the...
Okay, you know what this reminds me of? This is basically the Mahler and Critical Drinker argument against Interstellar. Love is not the fourth dimension. That's stupid. Or love is not the fifth dimension or whatever. That's basically the same kind of argument. Oh, you cried the whole time. He literally was carrying an evil demon ring that was spending every second making his life hell. He carried it for years through absolute hellscapes. He carried it through swamps. He carried it through a giant spider's lair. He carried it through the gates of Mordor where there were orcs trying to kill him and eat his flesh. And all the time his whole mind was being twisted and he was having nightmares every night. He basically was broken by this evil thing. So yeah, he carried all of that. That's like saying that Jesus didn't do a good job because he wound up on the cross. It's like, well, that was the point.
The last moment and not even do the job. And it only happened because Gollum tackled him. So it's by accident he actually completed the journey. And then we got to go through 45 minutes of just watching people kiss this guy's ass. It's a little much. It's a little much. Being a husband, father, and host of my own show means life never slows down. Imagine trying to eat 31 different fruits and vegetables every day. Sounds pretty miserable.
All right, you know what? I actually think I'm about to agree with him, though. I think I'm about to agree with him if he's about to make the point I think he's going to make.
Of the ghost soldiers, or whatever it was, where Aragorn goes and recruits these ghost soldiers, right, to go and fight the big battle.
No, I don't even have to hear anymore. He's exactly correct about this. He's exactly correct about this. This is the one critique of the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. I can never let it. At the time it bothered me, and it still bothers me, and I never like it whenever I rewatch it. It's the one thing that I don't like about the Peter Jackson trilogy. So I'm pretty sure I'm about to wholeheartedly agree with him here.
At the end. And you could have cut the whole thing with the ghost soldiers, and that would have saved you 40 minutes or so, probably. And then you lose this massive plot hole, which is that the ghost soldiers show up halfway through the battle. I don't know why they're late. And then they just go, it's pretty lame. You know, we get this great battle scene, and then the ghost soldiers show up, and they just go through, they're like swarming army ants, and they easily kill everybody. They kill all the bad guys, and the battle's over. And they're able to easily kill everyone because they're already dead. They're invincible, right? They're these corporeal creatures that can't be harmed, can't be killed. There's no stakes for them in the battle. They got literally nothing to lose. They're already dead. So why didn't you just get the ghost soldiers from the beginning?
Release us.
I know. I hate it.
Very handy in a tight spot.
Oh, it's even worse when Gimli says that. Oh, these are really handy. Let's hang on to this invincible army that cannot be defeated and is now enslaved to us. Let's just hang on to them for a while. Till maybe, I don't know, we've defeated Sauron. And he says, no, I'm an honorable guy. Let's let him go. Now, the problem with this is not what was in Tolkien's work. In the books, there was not an invincible ghost army. Aragorn used them to take back Gondor's fleet and then sail the fleet up and use actual human soldiers to save Minas Tirith. So this is an annoying Deus Ex Machina that Peter Jackson introduced into the film. But by the way, actually, this point that Matt Walsh is making is actually making my point about why he's wrong for me. Because Matt Walsh is arguing here that the film is too long. You need to make the film shorter. Why does it have to be 36 hours long? That's too long. You should shorten it. Well, guess what, Matt? That's why this scene is in it. Because of that exact argument. We need to make the film shorter, so we're going to take a shortcut and create a dumb Deus Ex Machina plot that was not in the books, that leaves a giant plot hole just sitting right there in our grand finale forever, for all time. That was to please idiots like you, Matt Walsh. That's why this is in here. Because of idiots like you, who said, 3 hours is too long for a movie, so we'll just do ghost soldiers. So you're going to sit here and bitch about the ghost Deus Ex Machina when your exact logic is the reason it's in there in the first place.
These lads, despite the fact they're dead.
You could have had the ghost soldiers fight every battle through all 3 movies. They would have easily won. Again, the movie's over in an hour.
But Matt, then the movie would have been longer. It would have been longer, sir. I thought you didn't like that.
And then at the end of that, Aragorn is like, oh, you've proven yourself in battle, ghost soldiers. Be free now. How do they prove themselves? It required no courage for them to fight that battle. They were already dead.
He's right.
And they're hanging out in a cave
he's right.
somewhere for eternity. So you did them a favor. I mean, they're bored to death, literally, hanging out in a cave underground. You let them come up to the surface and fight a battle where they can't lose, and somehow they've proven their mettle, they've proven their courage, and now they get the curse lifted. And now the curse is lifted, they just disappear into nothingness. They become dust. So anyway, now I have complained about Lord of the Rings, and it has taken as long for me to complain about it as the movie is also. So this has just been a total waste of time. But let's get to the daily cancellation.
I'm a huge uber Lord of the Rings fan. I watched all the extras on the extended version, but which is the best film franchise of these 3? I'll say this one. So, there you have it.
Well, there you have it. What a bunch of bullshit. What a bunch of bullshit for Matt Walsh. I don't even know if he's serious, but he's right about the ghost, though. But also, that's why he's wrong. It's precisely why he's wrong. If the film had had the space it needed to tell the story correctly, you wouldn't need a stupid Deus Ex Machina. It's the exception that proves the rule. Not really. That doesn't actually fit. Anyway, stuff here he says, Iluvata design included Gollum's choice that destroyed the ring. So fuck you, Matt Walsh. That's right. Get him, Stuff Yeti. Universal says many years ago, movie fans wanted movies to be longer. They then made movies longer, and people started bitching. Make up your mind. Now, Universal, don't attempt to straw man me here. Don't attempt to straw man the moviegoers. What moviegoers wanted was for films that deserved a longer runtime to have the runtime they needed. For example, the Aliens director's cut is a great example of that. The Aliens film theatrical release is 2 hours long, and it's a good film. Nothing wrong there. But if you add a few extra minutes to it, I think it's a better film. You get the backstory of Ripley's daughter, which dovetails nicely with the Newt dynamic later in the film and makes it much more meaningful when she fights the alien queen to save Newt, because now it's a surrogate mother-daughter relationship. That's what they were talking about. They were saying that when a film has earned the runtime, it should get the runtime. It shouldn't just have some maniac producer saying, no, audiences only like 2 hours. Audiences won't stay for longer than 2 hours. It has to be 2 hours. We never said that we wanted every dopey, stupid movie that the corporate committee shits out to be 2.5 hours long or 3.5 hours. Nobody said that. So I'm saying you're giving me option A and option B. I'm saying option 3, C, or what was it? Letters or numbers? I said, Mr. Producer. I don't remember. Just give me, for the right movie, give me 3 hours. But by the way, this wasn't an issue years ago. In the 90s, that was the deal. If a film was 3 hours long, it had earned it. Braveheart, Titanic, Waterworld. That one's a bit controversial, but I'm standing by it. The Postman. Well, yeah. Let's see. What else? What was Schindler's List? One of the greatest 3-hour films of all time. There's plenty of great 3-hour films because they needed to be 3 hours. It's not complicated. Back to the Future doesn't need to be 3 hours. Die Hard doesn't need to be 3 hours. Schindler's List needs to be 3 hours. That's the way it was done then. That's the way it should be done now. Lord of the Rings needed to be 3 hours. Those films needed to be 3 hours. Minimum. No, Star Fury! I won't hear it, Star Fury. Star Fury says Titanic didn't earn shit. Star Fury! The ship sank in real time in the film Titanic. That's why it needed to be 3 hours. First, you are a passenger living on the ship in all of its glory, in all of its wonder. And then in the second half of the film, for I forget the exact length of time, but something like an hour and 30 minutes or whatever, you watch the ship sink at the exact pace that it really sank. That's freaking brilliant. Let's see. How long did it take Titanic to sink? Approximately 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink after hitting an iceberg. Okay, completely disregard everything I just said. Fucking memes that you just have in your head, you know what I mean? I'm just checking something. Let's see. No, the sinking of the Titanic in the 1997 film Titanic was not filmed in real time. The sinking was recreated using a nearly full-scale replica of the ship. Let's see. It isn't real. The Titanic took 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink. And then the action in the film is from... It's basically about an hour and a half of the film that it sinks. So it's an hour short. So it was an apocryphal legend that I've just simply believed since I saw the movie, and I was wrong about that. So you got it. You know, the internet has just ruined apocryphal stories for me. It used to be that when you heard an apocryphal story, you could just trust that it was true because nobody could prove you wrong. Now, you just go on the internet and you just ask the internet, hey, am I wrong about this? And the internet's like, yes, you're wrong about this. Fuck! Damn it! 20 years of believing this. I have to rethink everything. I have to rethink my entire life now. Just yesterday, chat. There was a guy telling me about how he was watching the Wyatt Earp series on Netflix. It's a documentary about the life and times of Wyatt Earp. And I said, did you know? Did you know that John Wayne was a personal friend of Wyatt Earp? Really? I was like, yes. He was a pallbearer at his wedding, and John Wayne got a lot of his inspiration for his characters based on Wyatt Earp. And then the guy says, wait a minute. Was John Wayne old enough to be friends with Wyatt Earp? And suddenly I'm like, wait a minute, was he? And then I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. And then I said, you know what? I better check on this. And then I asked the internet, am I correct about this internet? And the internet was like, no, you're not correct about this. Damn it! John Wayne never knew Wyatt Earp. It was a director of one of his films by the name of Ford who was a friend of Wyatt Earp. And it was Ford who told John Wayne about Wyatt Earp's thoughts about things. Damn it! And I was about to tell him that, like, okay, disregard everything I just said. I was totally incorrect about that. But then we got interrupted and he walked away. And so now he's walking through the world with an apocryphal, like, fake story that I have unwittingly spread to him that now he's going to go tell someone else. Hey, I'm watching this great Wyatt Earp series. And did you know that John Wayne was a personal friend of Wyatt Earp? And it's like, dang it! Nevertheless, you're still incorrect about this, Star Fury, because it's an epic, grand, man against nature battle is Titanic. It's a epic nautical story in which the captain goes down with the ship. And who can forget the sweaty handprint? Oh, no! No, we don't want to think about that, do we? Maybe. I don't know. I was like 13 when I saw it, so I loved that part. Anyway... what's next in the stack of stuff? Well, trouble is still brewing, chat. It's still brewing. Mr. Producer, grab Yeah, that's what I need right here. No, wrong one. There it is. That one.
Now shall you deal with me, O prince, and all the powers of hell!
Uh-oh, Superman is having mixed reviews in the test screenings. Dave Cullen, take it away.
Well, James Gunn's new Superman movie has had some test screenings recently, and reactions have been mixed. This is the big relaunch of DC in film that the studio is banking on to build a new cinematic universe, basically. And so far, it doesn't appear as if there's an enormous amount to shout about. This article is from MovieWeb. Superman gets conflicting test screening reactions, leaving DC fans not knowing what to think. It says, James Gunn's Superman is one of the most anticipated movies of 2025, with David Corran Sweat being the latest actor to portray the Man of Steel on the big screen. Most DC fans, aside from the Zack Snyder diehards, are desperate for Superman to be a hit and revitalize the DC universe on the big screen after years of divisive movies. The first test screening of James Gunn's latest film have already happened, with the director confirming that some minor reshoots will be taking place before its theatrical release on July 11th, 2026. Obviously, that's a typo. It's supposed to be 2025. But fans are desperate to know what the first test audiences are saying about the film. 2 reports have been released supposedly quoting the test screening viewers, and the reactions couldn't be more juxtaposed.
Star Fury's on a warpath today. It says, I don't fucking care. Spoiler, you hit an iceberg, you sink. Titan. And that's true. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is not, will the Titanic survive? We know it's not going to survive. It's, will our protagonists survive, dear Star Fury? That is the subject with which the film is concerned. Moving on to your next comment. You're not anticipating shit, referring to the Superman film. I got to tell you, this is like the worst. So this Superman situation, this is like the worst of all outcomes, right? This is exactly what I'm afraid of with Daredevil. I'm afraid it's going to be mid. That's what I'm afraid of with Daredevil. I'm not afraid of it being a woke trash fire. That would just be par for the course, and at least it'd be something to make fun of. One more IP mined and destroyed. What bothers me is that it's going to be mined and it's just mid, and that's what's happening to Superman. James Gunn is such a vainglorious asshole. He is the worst. He is the worst at rolling out this news. Right from the beginning, he confused. They fired Henry Cavill. He sent out all this mixed messaging about this is canon and this is not canon and this will be in and this won't be in. We're doing Matt Reeves Batman. We're not doing Matt Reeves Batman. He has turned this entire DC relaunch, he has turned into a complete fiasco. And now it's looking like this Superman film, which they have staked everything on this. They have staked absolutely everything on this. And that first trailer is stuffed with bullshit. There's a giant monster. There's a bunch of Green Lanterns. There's Lady Hawk or whatever the fuck her name is. Don't care. And it's like he just stuffed it with all this garbage. Lex Luthor, Superman, Lois. That's it. That's all that should be in this movie. And it's another stupid Justice League boondoggle. Oh, don't worry, says James Gunn. Don't worry. We have a vision for this. We know exactly what we're doing. You're going to love it. It's like, we see you making the exact same mistakes that the MCU has made, that the Sony universe has made, that the first DCU made. You're making the same exact mistakes, and the fans are trying to tell you trouble is brewing, and you're not listening. And now look what's happening. Look what's happening. He's made a mid Superman movie, which is exactly minus 1,000 what he needed to make this relaunch a success. Creature Commandos, gag me with a spoon. I don't care about Creature Commandos. Okay, I don't care. This is a slam dunk. This is very simple. This is very, very simple. It was done in the 1970s. It's called Superman the Movie with Chris Reeves. It is heroic. It's beautiful and inspiring and uplifting. It is patriotic. And there is a protagonist, Superman, and an antagonist, Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mastermind of our time. That's all you need, James Gunn. That's all you had to do. Just shut your fucking mouth and just make a Superman movie. I think this thing's going to be a disaster. I think this is going to be an absolute disaster now. It's like, I'm so disappointed. I'm so tired of this.
Okay, let's read on. The first report comes via insider Jeff Snyder. On his The Hot Mic podcast, Snyder revealed that one of his sources had nothing but bad things to say about Superman after the test screenings. So this is the quote. "I got a call from my best source after that newsletter," Snyder said, having previously written a positive report about Superman. He said, "Great newsletter tonight. You got one thing wrong, and that's about Superman, which I continue to hear is terrible." So then, on the flip side, we have this contrasting opinion. That news may come as a dagger to the heart for those who are optimistic about Superman successfully rebooting the DCU on the big screen. But not all hope is lost. Speaking on the John Campea show, the eponymous host gave a juxtaposing report about the first reactions to Superman's test screenings. And he says, "I will come out and say the exact opposite," Campea said in reference to Snyder's report. "I've heard Superman's tremendously good."
Well, John Campea is a shill. John Campea is a shill with TDS. So we can safely disregard whatever nonsense. He's just going to push the narrative. That's what he's going to do. Whatever the corporate narrative is, that's what John Campea is going to push. So we can safely disregard his reassurances.
Well, it's worth mentioning, of course, that we really have to take all of these kinds of reports with a pinch of salt. Nothing is confirmed at this point. But here's another source on the matter from Game Rant. Superman test screening reactions draw comparisons to one of the most well-received DCEU movies. Superman is coming out in 4 months, and its test screening reports are promising. The anticipated DC tentpole has been compared to one of the most successful movies from the now-defunct DC Extended Universe, DCEU. James Gunn's first movie for the DC Universe is David Corenswet's Superman. Gunn and Peter Safran, the co-chairman and co-CEOs of DC Studios, decided to end DCEU to have a full reboot of DC's cinematic universe. The film has high expectations because Gunn is the creative force behind it.
But they bungled it, though, because they left The Flash in play, they left Aquaman in play, then in the middle of sunsetting the old DCU, they started launching a bunch of oddball stuff like Creature Commandos. So they confused the audience. If you're going to do a reboot, you have to do a reboot. You have to sunset the old and then have a bold, striking opening to the new. They should have released absolutely nothing before the Superman film or a Batman film. Those are the only two things they should have done. They should have done a new Superman film or a Batman film, and from that, launch the rest of the universe. I would argue a Superman film because Batman is so Batman is so niche in Batman that like it can be difficult to make that the springboard. I feel like Superman is the right choice for that.
Both as director and writer, the filmmaker has a successful track record with superhero franchises, including Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and DC's The Suicide Squad. Based on the reports, Gunn's Superman is in line with his superpowered flicks of the past. Okay. It says the recent test screenings of Gunn's Superman have received positive reviews. Portuguese fan site DC Depreciao described the early reaction in a post on X. The tone is closer to the first Wonder Woman film and the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
What this is ironic. It's literally like we're getting exactly conflicting reports here, because like one's the test screenings are going terribly. The test screenings are going well. And then here we have, it's similar to the first Wonder Woman film, which is like, that's promising, because I love the first Wonder Woman film. It was hopeful, it was inspiring, it was heroic, it was great. But then he's saying it's closer to the first, it's also like the first Guardians of the Galaxy, which I love, but that's the wrong tone for Superman. Guardians of the Galaxy is a kind of misfits adventure. That's not what Superman should be.
This feedback is promising since both films were major critical and commercial successes. Wonder Woman 2017, directed by Patty Jenkins and starring Gal Gadot, received 93% ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Gal Gadot's performance received praise, with many saying she was perfect for the role because she effectively portrayed Wonder Woman as an epitome of female empowerment. The movie made $103 million on its opening weekend and $820...
Dave Cullen is like one of the only YouTubers I've ever heard accurately pronounce the word epitome. Because if you pronounce it phonetically, it looks like epitome. It looks like I think I've heard Gary at Nerdrotic say epitome. I am certain I've heard Jeremy D-Day Cobra, the commander. I'm certain I've heard him say epitome. But Dave Cullen's one of the few. He nailed it. Epitome. The epitome of female empowerment. It wasn't it was not the epitome of female empowerment. It was just a good superhero film. This is why people get annoyed by female protagonists. You want to know? This is why people get annoyed, because when a male antagonist when a male is a protagonist, men do not go around saying this is the epitome of male empowerment. This is a good male empowerment story. No, they just say, I really like that movie. He was a great hero. But it does not matter the context. If it is a female character, it's like we have got to hear how it is a female empowerment story. How about it's just a great story with a female character? Can't it just be that? No, it's always got to be this stupid narrative. It's like, it's nonsensical. It's not a female empowerment story, Wonder Woman, because in reality, women are not superhuman, bulletproof Amazon women from a fairy tale island. Wonder Woman is a fictional character with fictional superpowers. How is that empowering? Well, because people went and saw it. And because people saw it, including men and boys, that therefore means it empowered women. Oh, so you're saying that you need men and boys to watch females in movies in order for women to be empowered? That's what's necessary for women to be empowered, is for men to give them power? How is that empowering? It makes no sense. I really hate this stupid narrative about women as superheroes as empowering. That's like saying that Superman, the fact that Superman can not be hurt by bullets is empowering to young men. How is that empowering to young men? Young men are not impervious to bullets. Seeing a fictional character that's impervious to bullets is not empowering to anybody. It's a fictional, nobody has that ability. It's not empowering to anyone.
$22 million worldwide. It was the first female-led superhero movie in the modern era to dominate the box office. Due to its success, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman scored a sequel and was deemed one of the best DCEU films. The Guardians of the Galaxy 2014 was also directed by Gunn, and it was just as successful. It has a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, made $94.3 million on its opening weekend, and earned a total of $773 million worldwide. The film influenced MCU films to add more humor. Wasn't a massive fan of Wonder Woman. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie or anything. It was entertaining. And I think Gal Gadot was very good in that role. As a period superhero movie, it was kind of like the DCEU's answer to Captain America, the First Avenger. But is this good news overall to compare the new Superman movie to the likes of the Guardians of the Galaxy or Wonder Woman? I mean, yeah, they were all right. I think the first Guardians movie is the best one in that trilogy. But to be fair, on the point about Wonder Woman, was it by itself a great and really strong superhero movie, or was it just better, relatively speaking, to the other DCEU movies at the time? I think that's...
I loved it as a standalone film. I really did. I think Wonder Woman's a great superhero film. In fact, I expected to not like it that much. I really went into the film thinking, I'm not really a Wonder Woman fan. This is probably going to be a bunch of feminazi propaganda. But whatever, we'll see what we see. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. She's a brilliant character in the film. Goes on a great journey. There's a great villain. Ares was a fantastic villain. I loved the surprise at the end. The final battle was a little boring. But other than that, I mean, it was great. And it was a wonderful World War I piece. I thought it was all brilliant. So what else we got? What do we have in the chat? Wrangler said, I said epitome correct. I guess I'm on the short list. You are, Wrangler. It's a rare individual who can pronounce epitome upon reading. Fu Man Blue says, I can confirm that Bama Jeremy said epitome wrong. I know I can't point to the exact clip, but yes, Fu Man. I know he said it wrong. I know I heard him say epitome at some point. I bet Ryan Kinnell could do it. Ryan Kinnell could pronounce it correctly. That's about it. Now Star Fury. That's not nice. You should super chat that to Jeremy about his sister. He loved football and God in that order. Now, Star Fury, I will take that to mean that you're referring to American gridiron football, which is, of course, the correct nomenclature.
Worth considering, because I didn't really think that Wonder Woman movie was as good as a lot of the movies that were coming out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the time. So, I think in that respect, we do have to question whether these two movies are good points of comparison for this new upcoming Superman movie. Because, as entertaining enough as those movies were by themselves, I don't think they represent an extremely high bar, even for their own franchises. And I don't think they represent an extremely high bar for superhero movies in general. They're not a low bar. Guardians 1 and Wonder Woman were sort of upper mid-range kind of superhero movies, right? But this new Superman film, I think because it's launching the new DCU, it really needs to be something very special in its own right. And it has to be more unique, It's got to be bringing something new to the table, because there's a huge weight of expectations for this film. So I think it needs to be more on the scale of, the likes of an Avengers Infinity War or a Dark Knight in terms of quality and significance. I mean, for starters.
I sort of slightly disagree. I think that if it were just really solid, it was good. Like if it were on the level of Captain America, the First Avenger, I think that would be pretty much enough. Because Captain America, the First Avenger is a great movie, but is it like one of the best movies you've ever seen? No, not really. But it's a movie you come away from being happy that you watched it. And that's really all, Thor was kind of the same, the first Thor film. I think what you do is you aim for a home run and you hope you hit a grand slam. But you just aim for the home run. Just play it down the middle. Don't do that. Why is all this wacky shit in it? That's what worries me about it. Who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe it's going to be brilliant, but this is troubling. This is troubling news on these test screenings.
It's got to be a must-see in the cinema.
I don't understand. They spent all this money on test screenings. Why don't you just go watch some YouTube channels that are talking about this? Just go listen to what the audience is saying. They'll tell you everything you need to know. It's really not complicated. It's follow the comics.
And, you have to ask the question, was Wonder Woman a must-see in the cinema? Was Guardians of the Galaxy 1 a must-see? Well, for me, I went to see Infinity War and I went to see The Dark Knight in the cinema, but I didn't go to see Wonder Woman or Guardians of the Galaxy 1 in the cinema. But maybe that's just me. So there you go. That's what we've got so far on the test screenings and reactions for this new James Gunn Superman movie starring David Corenswet as Clark Kent Superman. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there.
All right, there we go. Hat tip Dave Cullen. A fair and interesting analysis of the upcoming Superman film. Now then, Mr. Producer, where are we in the chat? Fu Man Blue says, watching Brits bumble around with American lore is always good for a laugh. Dance Monkey! Star Fury says, I'll do my best. Looking at the stack of stuff. Okay, so now, speaking of totally irrelevant American entertainment traditions, the Academy Awards, also known as the Oscars, is a thing which continues to exist in spite of having completely outlived its usefulness. There was a time in the not-too-distant past when members of the Academy, that would be members of Hollywood, the entertainment industry, producers, directors, actors, musicians, they all loved, generally, entertainment. That's why they were in it. They loved art. They loved having fun. They loved telling stories. That was what they were there to do. And when they selected films to win an Academy Award, often, not always, but often, they were films that, in the Overton window of what the general audience finds entertaining versus what creatives find entertaining, there was enough overlap that they would often select films to win Academy Awards, which we also liked, that were actually entertaining, that were actually fun. Now, they actually hate anything that's actually entertaining, and they select to win films that nobody's ever heard of, nobody wants to watch, including the people voting for them in the Academy. Bizarre foreign films, just about weird shit. Like some guy gets cloned and he sexually abuses his own clone 50 times. And it's like, oh, that's so amazing. That deserves an Academy Award. Watching the film made me miserable, but that's okay. It's like so. And that's completely aside from the ridiculous political grandstanding that we have to be treated to by these entitled, uber-rich, annoying assholes. So the Academy Awards is completely irrelevant. It's completely pointless. It is the vestigial organ of the entertainment industry, not unlike an appendix. It's there, and it's usually not a problem unless it gets inflamed and explodes. And then you die. Now, the Critical Drinker has mercifully watched this for us so that we don't have to watch it. And I would like to check in on his report on what's going on. What was the Oscars like this year? How bad was it? Let's just find out exactly how bad it was. Mr. Producer, Oscars cringe. Yes, that's the one I need. Is that what I need? No. Wow, I hate Mozilla's system here. Okay, here we go.
Awards.
Not yet, Mr. Producer. Stop it, he says. Plus, Gridiron was based on the proper game rugby before you fucked it up. No, we did not. No, there's rugby football. There's association football, which is soccer. That was an Oxford term. That was an Oxford term. And then gridiron football, which we have helpfully and economically shortened to football.
Season. If there's one thing I enjoy less than spending a couple of hours slogging through some tea.
Oh, wait, hang on. I could restore normal speed. I had to speed it up for Dave Cullen. He was just speaking a little slow on that last video. All right, here we go.
tedious, mediocre piece of Hollywood slop. It's spending a couple of hours slogging through some tedious, mediocre awards ceremony where Hollywood celebrities who flew in on private jets wearing $10,000 dresses preach to us about the evils of capitalism and how we all need to work together to fight climate change or save the Ukraine or whatever the current popular thing is this year. It's like your average Scottish wedding. It's boring for the most part, but there's always a chance of a fight breaking out or some drunken arsehole making a fool of themselves during their speech. Sadly though, this year it was not to be. The 2025 Oscars were notable precisely because of their lack of controversy. There were no big upsets, no shocking wins or losses, no outrageous speeches or inflammatory rhetoric. Damn man, even Mark Hamill managed to keep both his pants and his Trump derangement under control for the evening, proving that he truly must be a good actor because he can pretend not to be a crazy person for a while. Conan O'Brien, one of the few late night talk show hosts who isn't a creepy manipulative retard, hosted with his usual laid-back, self-deprecating style, which was just as tolerably okay as you'd expect from a guy who's been in show business longer than most of us have been alive.
It's so funny, isn't it? I have to give credit to Fleekazoid, the YouTuber Fleekazoid, who coined this way of looking at it. This is the modern standard for all entertainment and media now. It's either absolute public humiliation garbage that is so insular and lacking in self-awareness as to be utterly embarrassing for all parties that it was even created. That's you either get that or you get something boring, terrible, and or preachy, or you get something bland, or on the absolute upper echelons, the absolute high end of entertainment value, it's okay. It's just incredibly, stunningly okay. And it's like, that's what we get now. And I'm getting roasted in my comments on my Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man review because a bunch of people who think it's super duper okay are mad that I don't like it because I remember Spider-Man when it was awesome. But awesome doesn't even exist on the spectrum anymore. It's just, if it's okay, we can all just be thankful and consume content. Universal on a warpath. Oh, that's funny. Evil people talking about the evils of evil. No, here comes... Oh, they're Satanists. They're a bunch of Satanists, says Universal.
Delivered a few pointed jabs at his fellow celebrities and one or two at the Orange Man, but most of his jokes were pretty safe and predictable and, well, fine, I guess. I have to admit though, one of the most unintentionally hilarious moments of the night was watching Rachel Zegler waddle out on stage with Gal Gadot to present an award, looking like a small, petulant child reluctantly going clothes shopping with her mum. Honestly, putting these two together in public is like parking a Lamborghini next to a Ford Escort, and you could practically feel the hostility crackling in the air around them. The promo tour for Snow White's gonna be fucking wild, man.
It's Hollywood, baby.
In terms of the actual results, which I assume is why the dwindling audience still tunes in for this stuff, Anora was the big winner of the night with 5 wins, including Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Director. And that's fine, I guess. It's a solid enough drama about a guy who falls in love with a stripper, marries her at a Vegas wedding chapel, and ultimately gets cold feet when he tries to introduce her to his family. We've all been there, bro. It's a decent little movie with strong performances, especially from Mikey Madison, and a not particularly happy ending that feels quite brutally realistic and appropriate. Yeah, it wasn't exactly a life-changing experience, and if I asked ChatGPT to produce a generic Oscar-winning movie, then I'm pretty sure it would spit out something exactly like Anora, but whatever. It was always going to be a safe bet, and I think that was a hallmark of the Oscars this year. Emilia Perez, which for some reason was nominated in almost every category that exists, was arguably the big loser of the night, with the only significant award going to Zoe Saldana for Best Supporting Actress. And I actually think that was a pretty fair choice because she delivered a great performance even if it was in a shit movie. It does make me wonder though if Emilia Perez was originally supposed to sweep the awards this year, but the organisers put their fingers on the scales after all the backlash to the film and it's... star. But Drinker, you suave tuxedo-wearing Hollywood legend, I hear you say. The awards are voted on by the Academy, and there's no way to influence their decision. The Brutalist, which was basically 3.5 hours of Adrian Brody being miserable, ultimately paid off for the guy.
Star Fury and Universal.
Award.
Oh no, you're gonna get timeouts.
It's the story of a Jewish architect who emigrates to America after the war and helps design a new library for...
Motherfucker!
The only real...
This is exactly my point about the Oscars. It's like they vote for movies that are boring and slow and obscure. Who cares? These just plotting dramas about nothing. Why would I watch them? Why would I ever watch the Oscars?
Sticking point for me was The Substance, which I think should have netted Demi Moore a Best Actress Oscar, not just for her work on that movie, which was fantastic, but as a kind of Lifetime Achievement Award, considering she's been in the business for more than 40 years at this point. I mean, the movie did at least win for Best Makeup, which is obviously pretty well deserved, but it would have been nice to see a mainstream hit like that get a bit more recognition.
I still have not seen The Substance. I have no idea what it's about. I just hear everyone say, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch The Substance. Just prepare yourself. You just got to watch it. You're just not going to even believe it. I'll add it to my list of things to watch in my infinite spare time.
As it stands, most of the winners this year were the kind of low-budget, obscure movies that were only going to be of interest to people who drive for 14 hours straight to go to wanky regional film festivals and pretend like they're enjoying themselves. As much as last year's Oscars focused on big, commercially successful, crowd-pleasing movies, this year did a complete 180, and I'm not entirely sure that it paid off. All of this is to say that the 2025 Oscars was basically a 4-hour snore fest that drew 1 million less viewers than the previous year, which was already a bit of a low point, and if I had to guess, I'd say that was mostly intentional. The Oscars acts as a kind of bellwether for the state of play in Hollywood and what we can expect from them in the year ahead. Whereas previous awards ceremonies have been filled with defiance and political posturing and big extravagant rants against the dreaded Orange Man, the attitude this year was like a man that's been bent over a table and violently humbled. This is an industry coming off a miserable year of strikes and disruption, followed by another year of disappointing flops and financial contraction, not to mention a US election that absolutely did not go the way they wanted. And if I'm right, 2025 isn't going to be much better for them. There was an almost tangible feeling of unease this year, like they were some unproductive employee that knows their boss is watching their every move and is desperate not to attract any more attention to themselves. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that, because they 100% deserve this. They got too big for their boots, they overestimated their own importance and cultural power, and now they're learning the hard way that they serve us, not the other way around. A few more years of this, and they might just learn their place at last. In the meantime, though, it's going to be interesting to see how much more irrelevant next year's Oscars becomes.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Hat tip the critical drinker. A brilliant analysis as ever. Star Fury says they didn't even show Bernard Hill in the memoriam section, those motherfuckers. Oh, that is a great observation. Bernard Hill is awesome. He was such an awesome actor. By the way, Star Fury, he was the captain in Titanic. That's a huge point in its favor. You have to admit that, sir. You have to. But yes, the actor who played Theoden, just one of the best characters in Lord of the Rings. Where is the Wholesome Rider? It's just unbelievable. What can men do against such reckless hate? I love Theoden. I love Theoden as played by Bernard Hill. Just a fantastic. And they didn't honor him. That's pretty sad. That is pretty sad. Best Movies glorifies a whore. Welcome to Hollywood. A stripper, Star Fury. A stripper. Not a lady of the night. Star Fury says, every actor appears in shit movies. Sorry, Bernard. Oh, come on now, Star Fury. He was great at Titanic. It was, I gotta see if I can find this. I don't know. It's I think I could find it. I think I can find this. You'd probably love this, Star Fury. It might be this one. This is a reach into the past. What did they call it? It's the Mystery Science Theater guys. They did one where they were roasting the Titanic. The Mystery Science Theater guys were roasting Titanic. And it's super funny. Riff Tracks. They called it Riff Tracks. Let me see if I can find that one. Yes! I think I found it.
What's this movie about?
Well, it's about a scrappy little newsboy who
No. No, I don't think that's the one. Oh, well. Whatever. I wish I could find it. But there's so the Mystery Science Theater guys, they rip on Titanic, and there's a great scene where Bernard Hill, as the captain, is all proud of the Titanic when she's first leaving, port. She's heading out to sea. Take her to see Mr. Murdoch, and the camera just zooms in, and they just say, "I'm gonna sink this bitch." That's pretty fantastic. I'm surprised. YouTube is like such a powerful search engine. I was like certain I could find that one. But it's reaching back a ways, so I suppose that's why I couldn't find it. I don't know what kind of seedy dens of sin you're going to, Star Fury. Speaking of strippers in private rooms, I don't know what you're talking about. What's next to the awkward pause? What's next to the stack of stuff? Kind of random, but I came across this. I came across an Indian film trailer in my feed, and I thought, well, that looks kind of interesting. I haven't seen the trailer. I thought, well, I'll throw that in the stack of stuff, Mr. Producer. Why the hell not? And Mr. Producer reminded me that we have, or at least the channel used to have, a sizable Indian audience owing to my RRR review, Rise, Roar, Revolt, which was a brilliant film and I quite liked. And so I thought, well, you know what? Let's take a look at this one because, I mean, the thumbnail is badass. Like, seriously, we got some badassery going on here. I'm gonna do an optimistic, preemptive upvote. So let's just take a look at this trailer. It's a film called King. King. This is a Hindi film. Here we go.
कहते हैं किस्मत इंसान को
It's in a foreign tongue, Mr. Producer. Well, how am I supposed to watch it if it's in Hindi?
उसके अतीत से जब वो अतीत लौटता है तब कहानी.
All right, hang on. Maybe I may have a workaround here. I need a word. It just so why is YouTube putting a Hindi trailer in my feed? That doesn't help me at all. The only reason I didn't know is because I didn't want to watch it until I was on the stream to watch it with you. Let's see. King English trailer. Well, so much for that. What is this? Okay, next in the stack of stuff. Next in the stack of stuff, Mr. Producer. Just forget about that. Don't mind that. All right, so last week we watched the Critical Drinker review of The Gorge, okay? And this movie is kind of a WTF sort of film, and Critical Drinker's review is pretty fantastic. So I thought we would do the pitch meeting. Hat tip, Ryan George.
So, you have a movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. It's called The Gorge. Oh, like the French word for throat. Well, technically that's true, yeah, but this is about two characters. And what's up with their throats? Nothing. There's no throats. They don't have throats? They have throats. Okay, so which one of the two is the throat? Neither of them. Well, how do they breathe without throats? They do have throats, but they're not important. Throats are super important. Sir, gorge in English means a deep, narrow valley with steep sides. Oh, like a canyon. Yeah, like a canyon. Okay. So which one of the two of them is the canyon? Oh my God, sir. Okay, look, this movie's about these two elite snipers that have throats, and they're each on opposite sides of this big gorge canyon thing. Okay, and why are they there? Well, they've both been hired for a super secretive job. Sounds secretive. You know it. It's so secretive that they get dropped off by parachute like 40 kilometers away from the gorge, and they gotta hike there. Wait, why not drop them directly at the gorge? It's for extra secrecy, sir. They're not even allowed to know where the gorge is. Wouldn't dropping them far away and having them navigate themselves there give them a better idea of where the gorge is? Hey, shut up. So the thing about these two snipers is that they're both attractive.
That's exactly right. That's my favorite. Hey, shut up! Shut up!
Oh, so they're gonna fall in love? Exactly, but the other thing about them is that they're not allowed to communicate with each other. Why wouldn't they be allowed to communicate? Do they not have to work together? Oh no, they totally do. They both gotta shoot anything that tries to come out of the gorge. That seems like a task where it'd be super helpful to communicate with the person on the other side. Well, they're not allowed to, so get all the way off my back about it. Hey, listen, I apologize. Let me get off of that thing. But one day it's Drassa's birthday, so she's like, you know what? I feel like communicating with this guy. Okay. So they start doing a Taylor Swift music video and communicating via giant notepads and boards and whatnot. Why did
the setup to this film, it literally created the exact reverse opposite of a plausible scenario for like defending, like containing the contents of this gorge, this canyon. The film literally sets up exactly the opposite of what you'd want to do. You'd want to have an army defending this thing. Nope, just two people. Oh, well, you definitely want to have them be working together. Nope, they're not allowed to communicate. Oh, well, you definitely want to have them have, detailed knowledge of the tactical situation. No, you'd keep them totally in the dark and not even tell them where they are. Well, then you'd certainly want them to have a backup so they could, they could report in if they see any weird activity. No, they're cut off from the outside world and all communications. It makes no sense. Not a shred of it makes any sense.
The people that hired them give them huge pads of paper if they're not allowed.
The only way this movie works is if it is revealed that all the oddball stuff they're told to do turns out to have a complete different purpose than what they thought. But the problem is, we already know from the Critical Drinker review that the reason they're there is legitimate, which is to keep zombie things from coming out of the canyon, which actually is a real tactical reason for them to be guarding the canyon. So the movie does not work on any level.
To communicate. Unclear, but then some tree zombies start climbing the gorge, so they gotta shoot them. Tree zombies? Zombies that are genetically merging with trees, so it's extra scary. Trees can't move, but zombies can, kinda. That's a good point. Anyway, so after killing these tree zombies, they start to bond, and they play drums together, and they play chess. Why did the people that hired them give them 2-player board games if they're not allowed to communicate? Unclear. So over time, they start to get really close, because they've bonded so much over binocular chess and whatnot. Wait, didn't this exact situation happen in Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead? Well, yeah, those two snipers did communicate with binoculars and boards and play chess, but this is totally different. How so? Because instead of developing a friendship, they're gonna develop the urge to bang each other. Ew. So one day, Drassa seems sad, so Levi's gotta go over there and do just that. How's he gonna do that? He freaking attaches a wire to a rocket launcher and zip lines over there. Zip lining over to a hookup is tight. Yeah, so they have some dinner and some love making, and now they're in love officially. Because of the love they made. Yeah, sir, that's That's why it's called making love. They made it. It's here now.
That makes sense.
Anyway, he tries to zipline back to work, but his wire breaks and he falls into the frickin' gorge, so Drassa has to jump in after him.
Wait, so they die?
Well, no, they both dragged their parachutes from the initial drop, so that's fine.
Oh, that's why you had them drop in by parachute. I thought that was kind of random.
It wasn't random. It was for this exact moment.
Got it.
So now that they're in the gorge, they gotta deal with tree zombies and tree zombie horses.
Oh, horsies!
Horsies that like killing.
All horsies like killing. That's why they fought in so many wars.
What?
So what happens now?
Well, they need to travel through the gorge, and the thing is, this thing's all color-coded in different sections with colorful fogs.
Why?
Aesthetics.
Oh, lovely.
And they're gonna come across some big old frickin' mutant spiders.
Wow, you'd think the spiders would be much more of a danger to climb out of the gorge than those humanoid zombie things.
No, you wouldn't.
I'll tell you something. The number one reason I simply would never want to live in the Skyrim world. You know, the Skyrim world is so beautiful. You know, all the forests, the trees, the gorgeous rivers from glacial melt. You know, just towering mountains and beautiful fog and the aurora borealis. Just these beautiful, beautiful Skyrim. Giant spiders. Hell no. I'm not living in any fantasy world where there's giant spiders. And if I do, I'm never leaving Whiterun. If you know, you know.
Find out that this whole place is being run by this company Darklake, and they're doing weird experiments and whatnot.
A very evil-sounding company name. How'd they find that out?
Well, they find an old film reel from the 1940s that an old scientist made for expositional purposes, as well as a modern computer detailing all of the sketchy stuff.
That's really thoughtful of them, story-wise.
Yeah.
So is it going to be tough to get out of the gorge?
Actually, it's going to be super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they find this super old military vehicle, so they use that to drive through the gorge, and then they use a winch to go up the side of the gorge.
Wow, well thank God gas doesn't expire.
Oh yeah, they'd be in big trouble if gas expired.
So then what do they do?
Well, then the big boss of Darklake is gonna be like, hey Levi, you didn't go into the gorge, did ya? But the thing is, she totally knows that he did.
Then why is she asking?
Well, she's playing sly, you know, and she tells him to kill Drassa.
Oh.
But here's the thing, she plans on killing both of them anyway.
So why not just do that? Why give them a heads up that they know someone was in the gorge?
So that our heroes have time to plan something.
But why would the Darklake boss want that?
I don't know, but I want it.
Well, okay then.
Then our heroes have to run away from these Darklake drones that are trying to kill them.
If they had drones, why'd they even have humans doing this in the first place?
So the movie can happen.
Got it.
They managed to take down the drones and...
So the movie can... I mean, that's what it is. That's what modern writing is. I want thing in movie. So there it is. There's no standards anymore. There's no standards at all.
Trigger the stray dog protocol.
What's that?
It's a protocol that drops a nuke into the gorge, so they gotta get out of the blast zone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then the CEO dies in that explosion.
Wait, she was at the gorge?
Yeah, she flew in by helicopter to oversee the manless drones trying to kill the heroes.
Why would she do that?
Because I want her to die at the end of the movie, and this seemed like an easy way to have that happen.
Oh, that makes sense.
So then Drassa becomes a waitress in France, and Levi tracks her down, and they kiss.
Oh, that's the dream. From saving the world to, casual dining customer service.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Well, it sounds like a movie. You have anyone in mind to play the characters?
I don't know, just whatever two actors have done action before and can play drums and chess. Hi, this is Ryan George from The Thing You Just Watched. Please enjoy this slideshow from The Thing You Just Watched.
Hat tip, Ryan George, pitch beating, another brilliant pitch beating. What is up with that movie? I'm definitely never going to watch it. But I love watching people talk about it. It's so fucking weird. The CEO flies to the gorge to personally oversee unmanned drones, which is the lead. It's exactly what I said. It's the exact reverse opposite of what you would do in any of those tactical situations. That you would do the exact opposite. They're unmanned drones. That's the entire value of an unmanned drone. Is that it's unmanned, meaning you don't need a man, or in this case, a woman. You don't have to be there. That's the dream, man. You don't even have to be there to use the drone. It's so stupid. Okay, Captain needs a quick break. I drank about 3 to 4 liters of water because I was super thirsty this morning. So I'll be right back. Open the mic, Mr. Producer. I'm dead. No, that's all right. Open the... Yeah, just kill the music. Because we're back. My dear sailors. Star Fury! What is this? There was no reference to such things, Miss Starfire. There was no such reference. Are you going to watch it? Are you going to watch Daredevil? Fu Man, are you watching Daredevil? I want your honest opinion. Anyone in the chat, are you watching Daredevil Born Again? Are you watching it with the captain? Am I getting snookered? Do you think I'm getting snookered? It's going to be like the 3rd episode is correct. No spoilers, Universal. I can already see you reaching for the keyboard. You just calm down there. Ah! I think it's somewhat obligatory. It's somewhat obligatory that they're going to make it decent. There's a lot in the trailer that looks good. I am cautiously optimistic about Daredevil. Cautiously optimistic. Star Fury says, I'll watch it when hell freezes over. Wrangler says, I don't have D+. That's fair. Fu Man Blue says, I love you, Star Fury, no homo. That was not the question, Fu Man Blue. Oh, no, sorry. Your Fu Man Blue did answer the question. He said, no, I don't watch Disney. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't have it either if I weren't doing reviews of stuff. A Minecraft movie final trailer? Is this for real? Is this a real trailer, or is this more clickbait, fan-made? Oh, no, this is real. Oh, man. Okay. All right. I think this is real. It's got a decent ratio on it. I'm looking at the comments. All right. Grab me the link, Mr. Producer. Oh, jeez. I don't understand why I do not understand why I copy the link, I go to Mozilla, I paste it, and it like won't grab the link. This is why I don't use Mozilla. Wait, what? Come on now. It is so weird. Dude, Mozilla is trash. I suppose I could just use Chrome, but I... all right. Share screen, Mr. Producer. Here we go.
Don't worry! I'm gonna cushion our fall with this water bucket! Release!
In the overworld,
Whoa.
anything you can dream about, you can create.
So they built all this?
Yeah, most of it.
Hola.
That thing doesn't understand a word you're saying.
We're talking.
Life here was perfect. Until one day, Flint and Steel, we came across the...
Jack Black is so retarded. He is so dumb. He just does him. He's just being him. I don't. You know what? The entire movie, they're acting in front of a green screen anyway. What else could he do? Would you really think about it? This movie is going to be a straight up acid trip. It's going to be a straight up acid trip.
Nether. A place with no joy or creativity at all. You! What are you making? Oh! If they get their way, this beautiful world and everything in it will wither and die.
Bio con Dios. It means goodbye, brother.
No, it doesn't.
Don't look at her. It does.
If we want to save this...
Stupid millennial dialogue. It's like every video game now, every movie, every superhero movie, every science fiction movie. It's this same stupid kind of dialogue. So boring.
World, creativity.
Is that funny? Does anyone think that's funny? Oh, don't look at her. Does anyone think that's funny? I think it's an eye roll.
Is key to survival. Now what? Elytra wingsuits.
Bye-bye. Those things work, right?
Absolutely.
Coming in hot!
I got something for you.
The movie seems to be trying to create some fun. And I will give it credit for that. It does seem to be trying to create some fun for the audience. I can't really say much more. I don't know. I'm not a Minecraft aficionado.
I love Blue House. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
This place makes no sense. Let's do this.
They want me to fight the chicken?
Chicken jockey.
Oh no, not again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you all right? Your head is huge.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. What? I wonder if Hollywood's ever considered the possibility that some things just shouldn't be a movie. Have they ever considered that? Ever? I don't know. What do you think, chat? Is that going to be good? If it looks dumb, says Fu Man Blue, it's probably real. Satire can't keep up with reality these days. I mean, I don't know. I will say that that's better than the first Minecraft trailer, mostly because I think they've revised some of the CGI a little bit there. And it does seem like it's trying to have a little fun. It's trying to have a little fun with the world, and I admire that. Dumb millennial dialogue. Jack Black is, useless as usual. But at least it's trying to be fun. I have no way of gauging whether or not Minecraft players will like it. What are the comments on this? That's what I'm curious about now. Let's just see if we've got some comments we can take a look at here. Really hope they actually put C418's music in the movie. Okay. Can't wait for Steve to turn evil in the ending and start making villager farms. Okay. I generally hope this is a so bad it's good type of movie. Maybe I am crazy, but I would like to hear C418 aria math slowed. What is C418? C418. German musician. Okay. Got it. I did not know that. Are you all right? Your head is huge. Most realistic response to villagers. I feel like there's a lot of kids. I feel like these are kids that play Minecraft in the comments here. That's, God love them. Fun fact, they will put what is what all people care about is C418. That's all they care about in these comments. No one's commenting on the movie. I'm trying to figure out if anyone likes this or doesn't. I don't like how the piglins basically replace the villager, is it supposed to be illagers or is that a typo? The illagers as antagonists. I don't think that's a typo. Illagers were the perfect contrast to the peaceful villagers, and I always thought the piglins were simply a tribe trying to survive the harsh conditions of the Nether, not some power-hungry destroyer of worlds. Wow. Who knew? Who knew the lore was so deep in Minecraft? I didn't know this. After saving the village, he got the Hero of the Day achievement, then revealed that his real name is Brian. Now everyone calls him Brian the Hero. I can't tell if people are excited or disappointed anymore. Literally. That's why I'm reading the comments, because I'm just trying to figure that out. Some of this is absolute Greek to me. Like, look at this comment. You're telling me they have elytras, but Steve only has one ender pearl. What? What did I just read? This is so funny. I've never played Minecraft. So, I mean, I know of it, but I know nothing about it. So it's complete. This is like code. This is like a cipher. I don't even know what they're talking about. Illagers and piglins and elytras and the ender pearl. What? That's such a funny comment because literally it could be the equivalent, right? It could be the equivalent of me arguing about Shepard choosing the control ending or the destroy ending to, eliminate the Reapers, but then the problem of like all synthetic life being eliminated in the galaxy, etc., etc. I could be talking about the Protheans or whatever and how they became the collectors. And if you didn't know Mass Effect lore, you'd have no idea what I'm talking about. And it's like the same. You're telling me that they have elytras, but Steve only has one ender pearl? I know, right? I can already see the "and you character's name." Well, you just be character's name. Chicken Jockey, they liked that part. This new shader with RTX and Minecraft is so realistic. The Piglin Elder slaughtering a child for drawing a picture is wild. Wait, what? What? Oh, jeez. The best scene is when Steve says, "No, I am a hero, Brian." I have no idea, chat. I have literally no way to analyze whether people are liking this or hating it or memeing on it or don't care about it. Like there's no way to tell. Star Fury says, "Old man trying to get down with those kids." That's not. I have a friend that's my age that plays Minecraft. I have a friend that's, well, he was formerly. Because I found out he played Minecraft, and I was like, we can't be friends anymore. Anyway, he plays Minecraft and knows all the lore and loves the game, has wiled away many, many hours on it. It's not my thing. It's just never been my thing. I do all kinds of things that are for children, okay? I play all kinds of games that are children's games, such as Smash Brothers. It's basically a children's game, let's face it. And I love it. The old Mario Brothers, I still would play it. I envy Gary's toy collection. That would be Gary Nerdrotic. I know, Fu Man Blue. That was, as the Joker would say, that's, very poor choice of words, Star Fury. It's a very poor choice of words. That's not exactly the best way to phrase it, Star Fury. It's all I'm saying. What else is in the stack of stuff? We've got The Last of Us 2 is being canceled. We might tackle that. How, Mr. Producer? Where are we at here? We're at okay, got it. Thank you. How about a Grizzy video? Could you handle a Grizzy video, chat? Okay, so as you know, Kathleen Kennedy was fired, retired, but is never leaving movies ever, and this has stirred up the hornet's nest, okay? This has kicked over the beehive, and the shills are a-buzzing. The shills are very, they have to rush to Kathleen Kennedy's defense. And so we're going to take a look at that. Mr. Grizzy, roll tape.
All right, so this Disney Shill channel, you can tell by the Grogu doll casually placed in the background there, had a little bit of a...
Dude, Grogu is notable for the fact that Grogu, and I mean this seriously, Grogu is the only iconic Star Wars character that Disney's ever produced. Since the handoff from George Lucas to Disney, Grogu is the only iconic, culturally meaningful character that Disney Star Wars has produced. And that is only because Yoda is a iconic character. And what's interesting about Baby Grogu or Baby Yoda is that, better known as Grogu, that he implies something about Yoda. That's what makes him so interesting. He implies something about the lifespan of the great Jedi Master Yoda, who is a beloved character and very lovable. And it's so notable because that is the only Disney Star Wars character you see that everyone is carrying around. Nobody has t-shirts with Rey or Finn or Poe on them. Nobody cares about Jyn Erso from Rogue One. Nobody's walking around with Andor shirts or the young Solo, played by the new actor.
Meltdown with regards to Star Wars this week.
You aren't being the insightful commentator or concerned fan that you are. You're just kind of being an idiot.
Star Wars is not dead, and the reason it's successful is because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Wow. I cannot tell if this is denial or just being a dumb shill that's just lying, that's just spinning a narrative that everyone knows this isn't true, and you're just spinning the narrative. But is this just stone cold denial of total reality? You wouldn't even be saying Star Wars is not dead if you didn't believe it. You just wouldn't even say it. You're stating exactly the opposite of what you know is true.
Look at our freaking track record.
And you're pointing at this one thing that's easy because some YouTube channel you like didn't like her Forces female shirt. And I just like good Star Wars. You got it. You don't have to like all of it. You've got good Star Wars. Do you understand even the Star Wars that's in front of you? And it's just... All right, the water's...
That's a great argument. That's a really good argument. If someone doesn't like a movie, just giving them a stern talking to about, hey, excuse me, sir. Sir. Excuse me, sir. You have good Star Wars content. And I don't want to hear any more of this about you don't have any good Star Wars content, because you do, sir. So you just sit your ass down and enjoy it. Oh, wow. That's a great argument. In fact, that's a sign of the success of Disney Star Wars right there. The fact that you're giving people a stern talking to about how it is good. They're so pathetic. Folks, they're imploding. The shells they're cracking up, man. They're cracking up.
Going back up, it's hot.
I'm very angry right now. You can tell by the tone of my voice I'm angry. I'm pissed off.
Yes, we are all just too stupid to understand the really good Star Wars that has been presented to us the past 10...
Stop here. It says Star Wars is objectively shit. And I think you mean Disney. Star Wars. Stop it, eh?
years. Kathleen Kennedy has done a great job running Disney Star Wars, and we're all just too stupid to understand that.
I know. She's done such a great job. Well, then how come there's been no new Star Wars movies? How come they canceled their plans? How come there's no Rey movie? How come there's no Rian Johnson trilogy? How come there's no... who was the other dipshit that was going to get one? The guy that directed Thor Love and Thunder. His name is escaping me. Where's his trilogy? Where is The Acolyte? Season 2. Where is The Acolyte? Season 2. She's such a success.
And because we're all so stupid, we just cling to whatever our favorite YouTubers say. And that's just the appetizer, you guys. So without any further delay, let's delve into the main course.
Hang on, this is gonna be bad.
I just was like, I had a flash of all those stupid thumbnails with the red eyes on Kathleen Kennedy.
Now, who would do a thing like that?
Cause I just was I think I totally just tuned it out because we've been having so much winning lately, so much winning.
Yeah, it's such a great point. Brizzy's title, his little subtitle there. Then why are you talking about it? It's exactly the point. The fact that you're so desperate to say it is evidence of the fact you know it's not true.
Like, all right, you guys, you think you're winning? All right, whatever.
Yes, we...
No, I don't think that we're winning in the sense that we want to be winning. What would be winning is if brilliant, awesome Star Wars films that honored the characters and carried the lore forward were debuting and wildly successful and uniting the fan base, and you had a company that was not engaging in disgusting, bigoted politics, then yeah, that would be great. That would actually be winning. But if we can't have that, then seeing bad content made by a bad company and incredibly stupid, narcissistic people fail. Seeing that content fail, well, it's sort of like a consolation prize. So from that perspective, we are winning because bad content deserves to fail.
We are winning. I mean, why else would you be this angry? And just take a look at the last two pieces of live-action Disney Star Wars content. Skeleton Crew was the least watched Disney Star Wars series on Disney Plus and failed to crack the Nielsen ratings at all during its run. And The Acolyte got canceled 1 month after its finale and 1 month after they introduced Darth Plagueis to live action.
Taika Waititi. Thank you, Fuman Blue. That's who I was thinking of. Taika Waititi. Yes, exactly.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
And I would not be shocked at all if Disney somehow found a way to fuck up these upcoming movies. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say it's probably more likely than not.
And then on top of it with Kathleen Kennedy, she is an executive who's going to have wins and losses, and it's valid to agree, disagree, criticize.
Yeah, I hear this a lot from Disney Star Wars supporters. They say it's okay to criticize Disney Star Wars. What they really mean is that it's okay for them to criticize Disney Star Wars. It's okay for them to criticize Kathleen Kennedy because they're doing it for the right reasons. They look at us.
That's a brilliant point. He is exactly right about that. I love also the smug implication that, like, we need your permission, you dumb chill. It is okay. It is okay to call out things that are good and to call out things that are bad. And that is valid. I don't need your permission, you dumb shill, and I don't care. I don't care whether you think it's okay or not. I'll criticize what I damn well like. It's hilarious.
One tweet making fun of Amanda Stenberg.
But this is the point Grizzy's really getting at. You know, is the shill. Observe, if you will. Observe, if you will, my dear audience, my dear sailors and star nuts, the behavior of the shill. The shill, in his natural environment, is, of course, insecure in his own person. You see, the shill lives in a world governed by the rule of essentially the thought police of the woke movement. He lives in terror of the Gestapo coming and knocking on his door for having evil thoughts. And so the shill must strive to justify his own mild, just fledgling attempt to criticize something that goes against the narrative. So really what the shill is doing here is giving himself permission to say something which he knows might anger his overlords. That's what's really going on. The shill is giving himself permission to say something he thinks might be out of line.
And Leslie Headland, or a thumbnail that triggers them, and they immediately...
Folks. Shillery by proxy is a terrible disease. It's a terrible disease. They suffer. They suffer terribly.
Think toxic fan, racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe.
But she has been a victim of that because of just bleeping sexism. And it's more, and it's a different flavor, and it's with a different agenda than is going to happen to Dave Filoni.
What an absolute pussy. To quote the critical trigger. What an absolute pussy.
Yeah, well, it's because it is just sexism. It is just sexism.
If he takes over.
No, you're wrong.
And I'm tired of just not making that a part of the headline. It's sexism.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the sexism. I'm tired of the sexism. It's okay to criticize. It's okay to criticize. There's good criticism, and then there's compliments, and then there's bad criticism. This is sexism. Yes, sexism.
Cry me a river, dickface.
And because it's sexism, they feel like they don't have to take anything that we say seriously.
To completely tie your negative feelings to...
They don't. They don't have to take anything I say seriously. I don't care. We don't need them to take... It's just like the director of the... Oh, shit, I've got a Fleekazoid video. Thank you, Mr. Producer, for reminding me. I appreciate it. Although I haven't forgotten that it was Fu Man Blue who supplied the name Waititi, and you were slow on that. No, I don't think it rises to the level of a demerit. I'm just saying, stay on point. Anyway, so when I actually have a real producer, I'll be like the nicest boss ever. It's only the fictional ones I mean to, because they don't really exist. Now, Star Fury says, these people have strayed so far from reality, it is truly unbelievable. No, stop here. That's not relevant. Good criticism. No, but it's like the guy, the Ubisoft director or whoever it was. I think it was the Avowed guy. And he was saying, like, we will listen to legitimate and warranted fan feedback. Don't listen to any of it, none of it, all of it. I don't care. You don't need to listen to us. Nobody has ever said that Disney needs to listen to us, or Lucasfilm needs to listen to us, or Netflix needs to listen to us, or any creative. We don't need, the creatives behind Doctor Who. They don't have to listen to us. Russell T. Davies doesn't have to listen to anything. You don't have to listen to any of us. But if you'd like to know why every show and every movie you're releasing is a complete failure, it might benefit you, but that's entirely up to you. So no, the Shills don't have to listen to us. I don't, by all means. Honestly, I'd prefer they didn't. They're much more entertaining this way. I prefer them just the way they are.
Towards a story.
It's Grizzy who's studying the Shill to one day find a cure for their disease.
Or a movie to one person in the process is problematic on the levels you're talking about, Joseph, and it's also it's just I'm at my wit's end with it. It doesn't matter.
It's problematic, Joseph. It's I'm at my wit's end. I'm at my wit's end. I just can't take it anymore.
What are you gonna fucking do about it, Shill? What are you gonna do about it?
What's on?
Matter to me anymore.
Hashtag triggered.
Well, I'll end it there, Jen. Save me before I start dropping names.
Oh, I'm shaking.
Yes. Oh. Save me before I start drop the names, loser. Start dropping them.
You didn't end it there, did you?
I get aggravated. This is where I got to remember I'm on Force Center at one of my other shows. I get aggravated of, well, hey man, hey bro, I just want good Star Wars. You got it. You barely understand the good Star Wars you have. You barely understand it.
Dude, have I? This is incredible to me. This is this attitude right here is fascinating to me. Have you ever heard me talk about something I love, such as Godzilla -1 or Godzilla -1, what's another good example recently? One Piece, some recent examples of things I've liked, Furiosa. Have you ever heard me speak with this attitude about it? Listen, shut the fuck up and listen to me. Furiosa's good, okay? And I'm not going to hear any more of this crap. It's such a weird, like dad has come home to lecture the children. You got good Star Wars, so just shut your mouth. What? What is that? That's so bizarre. If you love it so much and it's so good, why are you so mad about it? If everybody told me that Godzilla -1 was trash, it wouldn't change my opinion. Hell, I'm sitting here talking to Star Fury about Titanic, and Star Fury's like roasting me because I like Titanic. I'm sitting here telling him it's a good nautical movie, but not with this attitude. You know what I mean? Like, now listen here, Star Fury. You just listen. I don't even know how to fake that attitude, to be quite honest. I don't even know how to imitate it. It's so foreign to me. Now listen here, Star Fury. You got a good ship movie. It was called Titanic. And I don't want to hear any more of this noise about you not liking it. Because you got Bernard Hill. Star Fury, listen to me. You got Bernard Hill in the Titanic movie, and so don't look at me. Don't look at me, Star Fury. It's such a bizarre. I cannot imagine being this angry talking about something I love. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just weird, this attitude.
And what don't we understand exactly? Well,
and we will get the answer to that question in just a second. But I will just say this. Folks. This is a sign of how badly they're losing the culture. They're shedding influence by the day. And it must be frustrating. I was even just thinking about this. I was thinking, you basically have, these idiot Democrat politicians, choose your fighter, and it's like they literally are on the 20% side of every single 80-20 issue. Every single one. Look at any objective poll. They are literally advocating the 20% supported side of the issue, okay? And I'm just thinking to myself, what would it even be like if I found myself, if every single cause I believed in had only like 18% support in the voting public, you know what I'm saying? What would that even be like mentally? It would have to be, of course it would drive you insane. But then I thought, well, I just, listen, I have unpopular opinions, but I don't have every single opinion is something completely unpopular. So I don't even know how to picture how I would even arrive in that scenario. I mean, I guess the only thing I could think is if I lived under some kind of Stalinist hell, which is possible. That does happen in some civilizations. So I just don't even know. I don't even know how to identify with this experience. But I'm telling you, we are driving them absolutely crazy because they're losing. Acolyte Season 2 canceled.
Apparently, it's Kathleen Kennedy's forward-thinking, forces female agenda of DEI and inclusion.
I think the challenge is that Star Wars has wanted to evolve, wanted to change with the times, to be more inclusive.
No. The times are changing and you're not changing with the times. You see, our opinions are now popular, but you don't want to change with the times. No. That's good. So when she says, oh, it's changing with the times, no, what you mean is conforming to your sick worldview. And your sick worldview has lost.
And guess what? Fans don't like it, especially if they've tied their masculinity to these stories.
Disney purchased Star Wars and Marvel because they wanted to reach this audience, this predominantly male, masculine audience, and incorporate them into their fan base. And then, almost immediately, especially with Star Wars, they abandoned and even attacked those fans when they dared to criticize and voice their displeasure. And the pro-Disney media, along with the Shills, have joined them, as you've seen in this video.
And so they don't want to identify with this change and with this wokeism, quote unquote. So who can they direct their anger to? So they point to the woman at the top and they're like, it's you, Kathleen Kennedy. And they post pictures of her wearing her Star Wars shirt.
She is the CEO. She is the executive producer. She is the highest ranking creative at Lucasfilm. You moron. She is responsible for all of it. Isn't this incredible? It's exactly like the Jack Nicholson thing. He's in the film As Good as It Gets. He's a romance novelist. He's at his psychologist's office, and the female receptionist, who is a fan of his book, says, how do you write women so well? And he says, I picture a man and I take away reason and accountability. And it just completely crushes her. She's so horrified. But the point is, this is literally the meme, because she's saying, I don't understand. They're only blaming her because they're sexist. Certainly not because she's in charge of it all. It's like, but so are women accountable? Like, do they have any responsibility when they're in positions of power, or don't they? It's incredible. It's incredible how she doesn't even see that. She's basically saying that Kathleen Kennedy is not where the buck stops. Kathleen Kennedy is not responsible for what's going on under her leadership at all, because she's a woman. That's what she's saying.
Which I think looks fabulous. And they just attack her.
So Kathleen Kennedy is the victim. These people love turning everyone they support into a victim. Even the very privileged.
These shills, this is such bullshit. They're such bullshitters. Listen, they will attack, destroy, savage, eviscerate. These are the types of people that will go after a 13-year-old cancer kid at the State of the Union address for getting an honorary Secret Service member. These are the people that'll go after that kid because they want to. They'll attack anyone they want to, but you attack any of their sacred cows, and suddenly it's like, oh, that's so mean. You're attacking this stunning and brave woman.
You know, to use a word
Makes
that
me
these people
sick.
love to use, Lucasfilm president who is worth $300 million.
You know, it's like, I just get so aggravated because I'm like, it's just not right.
You are aggravated because Star Wars is crap. Your false narrative has collapsed. And we're having more fun ripping on bad Star Wars than you are pretending to like it. That's why you're mad.
We now have the trades, and we have YouTubers, and we have everyday people who are like, Star Wars is dead.
And by the way, I think it's pretty obvious that Kathleen Kennedy does not give a shit what the fans and YouTubers think about Disney Star Wars. This woman, on the other hand, gets very heated about it.
And if you look at the numbers, Star Wars is absolutely not dead. If it was dead, they would have scrapped it by now. We've seen, companies do left and right with other properties. Star Wars is not dead. And the reason it's successful is because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Star Fury says, if you had that attitude, I wouldn't be here. Now listen here, Star Fury. You had Bernard Hill in Titanic. That's all you should even want.
Look at her freaking track record.
You do understand that her track record with regards to Star Wars is
all the
the
bigotry.
reason why we criticize her, right? And with regards to, Star Wars is dead that you hear a lot on YouTube, yes, George Lucas Star Wars and George Lucas's vision for Star Wars.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture, isn't it? That's like the world as it should be.
Is absolutely 100% dead and gone. But when you're talking about Disney Star Wars, I prefer to say that Star Wars under Disney is The Walking Dead, because it's still moving forward. They're still doing things, making content, but it's dead on the inside. It has no heart, no soul, and it literally infects everything it touches. And we're all just waiting for someone to come along and...
GTA, motherfucker! Yeah! 10 points!
There's people I know in this place, and we know too, who go online and they post things at Kathleen Kennedy, and it's like you dig. It's like, oh, they had a fan film. They made a fan film. They think they can do this too.
You know what's fascinating about this energy too? Just this loser energy. So I'm an admirer of Elon Musk. I actually have been since before it was unpopular to be an admirer of Elon Musk. Hell, I remember admiring Elon Musk in the early 2000s when SpaceX was just his idea and everyone thought it was a bad idea. And recently he's had 2 test rockets explode. And all the NPC lefty shills are out there saying like, "Oh, look at that. He's terrible at making rockets." And so they're attacking him, right? And it's funny because do I feel the need to just go out here and say, Elon is doing his best, and he delivered good rockets before. And I just think that these people that, why do they just attack? Why do they just attack him? It's such loser energy. It's like, I don't care. You can claim anything you want about Elon. You can say, oh, he's terrible at making rockets. His whole business, just like they said with Twitter, oh, he's running Twitter into the ground. It's all over. It's all over. He's gone. It's all imploding. It's like, no, it's not. But whatever. But continue to be delusional. I don't care. That doesn't affect me at all. But no, it's not, and you're pathetic. But to sit here and so why are they white knighting for Kathleen Kennedy? It's because the dirty little secret is, folks, they're white knighting for themselves. This isn't about Kathleen Kennedy. This is about their own insecurities. They're losing. They're losing. Now, if they were just normal humans, right? That just had opinions about Star Wars that were unpopular and most people didn't agree with, and they were mature adults and they could just handle it and engage with the ideas and debate and criticize and whatever. Fine. But the real issue is they need us to like it. More specifically, they need a majority to affirm them because they claim there's no culture war. But they started the culture war. They started it. And we are defending ourselves, and Stalingrad has happened. And it is turning the tide. And now that they're losing, they're upset. Well, it's too late, Shill. It's too late. You chose your side, and it was the wrong one. So they're mad, and they're reassuring themselves. They're reassuring themselves that it's all fine, brah.
And great. Maybe you can.
I mean, let's just be honest here. Many of these fan films are significantly better.
Dude, that fan film is rad. The extended Obi-Wan Vader fight, that is so cool. That is such an awesome fit. So it just takes the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader standoff in A New Hope, and it just extends it with like some better choreography, and it is so cool. I doubt we could watch it. I don't think we could get away with it. I would watch that right now.
Anything Disney Star Wars has done. And I guess people saying that triggers you as well, huh?
There's some adults in their 50s who make this shit, and they think that is entitled them to run Lucasfilm. You think you're just you just think, this is my Star Wars. I know how it goes. I made a fan film in the desert for a
We know better than you, Shill.
weekend.
Why are you crying?
And this went on for a while, but don't worry because they eventually tuckered themselves out.
It's not one simple thing. It's just been 10 years of bullshit with this lady's name at the front of it that has just got me to this point.
The toxic fanboys are going to do what they do. Great.
Oh, they are mad.
Got me to this point.
Folks, they are mad. Oh, they are mad. They have lost everything. They have lost the narrative on Star Wars. Star Wars has the Disney Lucasfilm vision of Star Wars has failed in the public square. They have lost in the political square. They are now laughing stocks. They're irrelevant. All their channels are losing subscribers. The shill access faucet is being, turned down to a trickle. They are on the ropes. I'm serious, folks. They are on the ropes. Look at how they are all just glum and down. By the way, this is what they wanted us to feel. The way they're behaving right now is how they wanted us to feel during the Last Jedi arguments. All the way back in the Last Jedi days, back in the Ahsoka Obi-Wan days, during the Acolyte, their greatest dream was that the Acolyte would be this grand success, and they wanted us to be feeling this way. And isn't it ironic that that is where they find themselves? Poetic, isn't it?
The toxic fanboys are going to do what they do. Great.
She is pissed.
All right, the water's going back up. It's hot.
All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out some of the other content already live on the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.
She is pissed.
So it's looking like Kathleen Kent.
They are pissed, folks. What must it even be like? What must it even be like to be them? Do you realize that people like this have turned every single escapist entertainment media intellectual property? They've turned every single one of them into a cultural and political battleground. They have poisoned every single discourse with, all of their stupid, whacked out narratives about critical race theory and feminism and gendered insanity. They poisoned they've turned every single discourse into this. And every single time we fought back against it, they always told us, well, this wasn't made for you. Go away. We don't need you, and your opinions don't matter because you're a bigot. I'm just really tired of these bigots. I'm tired of these bigots. My impersonations of them are dead on accurate. Don't doubt me, folks, as the great Rush Limbaugh used to say. And they wanted us to feel glum and down and sad. And now, all of these projects have failed. The Acolyte Season 2 is dead. It's dead. Wokeness is a laughingstock. If you are woke, you're a fucking loser. Nobody likes them. Annoying little hall monitors going around with their clipboard. Oh, did you use the right pronouns? Get out of here. Nobody likes you. They're all getting roasted. They're so salty about it. They're exactly where they wanted us to be. Dispirited, broken, and to top it all off, all the lies of the media, the gaming media, all of the entertainment journalists, and then all the media in the election of 2024, absolute crushing, across the board, clean sweep defeat of everything they support, everything they believe in, everything they said would come to pass. None of it has. Everything that they wanted. Yeah. And the whole while, we've just been happy little warriors doing our thing. Even when we're on the back foot, we just do our thing, just keep on going. Ironically, we're the ones that have always stuck to our truths. It is them who abandoned their truth. And now, what is their prize at the bottom of all that? Defeat. Did I promise you 2 years ago on this channel, or did I promise you, my dear chat? We would inflict defeat after defeat after defeat. And there you have it. There you have. Observe the shield today. Defeated, crestfallen, disillusioned. Oh, it's such a sad thing to see, isn't it? Oh, it's such a sad thing to see. And Crowbar the Skull, with a $5 super chat, says, "Hail, Captain. Hail, Crowbar the Skull. I'm so committed to this salute, I'm even risking showing you my pit stain, which is really, it's not good, man. Look, I sweat sometimes, okay? Lay off me." Starberry says, "She is full of shit." Crowbar the Skull says, "He who lives by the woke dies by the woke." Oh yeah, that's the guy's like, well, it's okay to criticize, but I'm just so tired of it. I can't do that guy's voice for too long because it's too much at the back of my throat. It's too much. And now, what else is in the stack of stuff, Mr. Producer? Yes, there it is. Excellent. Excellent. I totally forgot I had this on tap. I really did. It worked. The link went into the URL. We are all systems go. Okay, good. Very good.
Only one.
No, hold on. Not yet. I hate how it autoplays. I really do. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Crowbar. Much appreciated. So Redoubt Productions is in the chat and says, "So business as usual." Well, not exactly as usual, Redoubt. We're celebrating. Well, I wasn't even quite expecting this, but the Shills are, they are very dispirited. They are really pissed. They are so bad. Okay, quick. Let's see here. Cough camera. Hang on. You don't need to see me blow my nose. Nobody needs to see that. Okay. Foodman Blue says, "Doing well." Good. I like to see a friendly chat. I have to figure out how I can display chats through OBS. I'm working on that issue. It's just not high on the triage list. Now, let's close it out with a Fleekazoid video, shall we? I have discovered Fleekazoid by way of Asmongold, and this guy is just a hoot. An absolute hoot. What an incredible video game commentator and YouTube maker, YouTube video content creator. And he's got some news for us about how Ubisoft has been utterly defeated, humiliated. Roll tape!
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's
imposing my feminine dominance, brother. Yar, pimp! Sorry, didn't mean to hit you with the hard yar right out of the gates. I've just been very pepped up ever since they shut down all those Hooters. Now where am I supposed to find me future wife? I still haven't replaced my go-to airline. Anyways, after 84 long years, the Japanese have returned to Hawaii, this time bearing gifts. A gift that combines two of the greatest things there are, pirates and Yakuza. Yakuza games are like if cocaine did LSD, then smoked a bowl.
Japan before and after the nukes right here.
And Hawaiians are like high-level Florida men.
Fuck. God damn you. Let me get a picture of that license plate, buddy. I'm sending that to my lawyer, you fuck.
In Pirate Yakuza, all it takes is minutes to go from some poor lady mourning the loss of her entire family to a 60-year-old man blasting the Angry Birds theme while he drifts in his pirate ship, shooting his laser-powered purple cannon at a ship full of clowns, then topping it off by strafing their poop deck with a fully automatic, non-lethal flintlock. That sentence only even exists in a Yakuza game, and that's the abbreviated version. Every time I think these games can't get any wilder, they add an entire minigame that's basically Duck Hunt. If instead of reacting to ducks flying out of the trees, you're reacting to old up guys jumping out from behind a dumpster. There is not a single franchise that has as much fun as Yakuza does, and when I get a spare lifetime, I plan on finishing every single one of these games that sit permanently on my hard drive waiting to give me joy. But one of the things I find most interesting about Yakuza is that it shows how simple fun can be, therefore accentuating how incompetent you have to be to make something that isn't fun. Like, let's say, for example, I don't know, you throw the GDP of Bosnia on making a pirate game, and then
the GDP of Bosnia. It's so true. They invest. These AAA game companies and these film companies, for that matter, they invest the GDP of Bosnia in a project and it fails. And they're like, "Well, it's not made for you, Chud. Screw you." They treat their fans like dog shit after they've just invested $800 million. It's unbelievable.
Even put any shipboarding in it. Or how about you're making a new addition to your franchise all about jumping and stealth, then you make an entire character that cannot fucking jump or be stealthy, or you pilfer the Singapore.
It's so stupid. They create this character Yasuke and they're like, "Oh, he's just a big lumbering tank," which is what assassins create. So the whole point of an assassin is he can blend into a crowd. He's stealthy. No one sees him there. He's agile. He can climb up roofs. And they create a character that sticks out like a sore thumb, dresses in heavy armor, and can't jump or climb. It's crazy.
Korean government's booty and only have this mini game to show for it. Pirate Yakuza was made in a cave with a box of scrap. It's built like a hot
Nice.
dog. It's just the assholes and elbows of all the other Yakuza games made probably about a goddamn year, and yet their weakest mini game is fucking golf. That's right, an entire goddamn sport. A sport that I lost an entire evening to, by the way. Listen, we'll get back to the UB slop in a second. I'm like the John Daly of putt-putt. That's right, I'm severely overweight and I have a gambling problem. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? The trick to sticking your balls in that hole is a gentle touch. I'm telling you, it's way harder to lose this game than it is to win it. Wow, sunk it! Or the trick could be aiming your balls towards the audience and then cranking it as hard as you possibly can. Wow, sunk it! Or the trick could be aiming on top of the hole, then cranking the ball in the opposite direction of the wind. Wow, sunk it! Or the trick could just be not cranking the ball at all. Listen, the point is, the trick can be whatever you want it to be as long as you have a copy of Premiere Pro. But for now, let's circle back to Ubisoft. I mean, if we're already talking about the minigames, let's just talk about them, right? I thought I wouldn't enjoy playing bingo until I was old and couldn't get hard anymore, but as it turns out, you don't have to be old. Bingo's actually kind of the bee's knees. Pimps. And even better news, we can beat it using the same trick that we just used on regular golf. Can't get your platform to work with you, brother? It happens to the best of us. The trick here is taking $50 and heading on down to...
I just love this guy's redneck energy. It's the best.
A whorehouse in Chihuahua. Wow. See, what did I tell you? History is written by the author.
Yes, the JD Vance memes.
Never forget that. Minigames in Pirate Yakuza range...
I don't really care, Margaret.
From being hit by a Honda while delivering someone's Little Caesars to bros being guys doing man things in a heterosexual manner. But if you're in the Middle East, that minigame probably didn't make it out to you guys, so instead check out Explosive Baseball Tetris. And this one, you smack balls and wait to see which one blows up the entire building.
This is actually way easier than fucking the rest of their baseball. Oopsie.
Wow! Sunk it! Hang on a second, it's just dawned upon me that we haven't actually even reviewed the game yet in this review. Hey, you know what? If we made it this far, why start now? This next minigame... This is some shit the CIA probably used to torture Iraqis, Marty. The type of minigame that fundamentally breaks a man and has him coming out of the other end knowing every line in the Bible, Marty. Has him shitting outside and watching The Price is Right at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, Marty. Has him eating well-done steaks and jerking off to softcore, Marty. This ain't the type of rock bottom men come back from, Marty. Come on, you little green bastard. You better get in that goddamn hole. You better stay up, you little piece of shit. You... Wow! Sunk it! Now, I will say this, a disturbing trend I've noticed with recent Yakuza entries is that they never give us action players any of those advanced business building minigames that the turn-based players get. What do you guys think, we're stupid or something? You think we're some kind of fools, you bastards? I'm the goddamn master of minigames! I conquered the one-shot challenge so hard they had me redo the same level over and over so they could marvel at my greatness. And you think I'm too stupid to run a jiggle joint? The audacity, you know, you're the fools. That's what I think. Bitch. Speaking of ass, that takes us back around to Ubisoft, but I just gotta tell you about the Coliseum minigame first. Can I tell you about the Coliseum minigame? I've been waiting to tell you about the Coliseum minigame all day. A lot of people think the Coliseum is just some kind of condensed way to enjoy all the pirate parts of the game, but what we're actually trying to figure out here is what mental illness is the strongest in battle. This is like Deadliest Warrior. If instead of Spartans versus ninjas, it was sociopaths versus chronic depression, or bipolars versus anime. Yes, Kate, that big man? The key to surviving the Coliseum, though, is constant drifting. Enemies shooting at you?
What in the hell is this game? This is... I thought this was about Ubisoft, but I get it now. So the title is Ubisoft's billion-dollar game cucked by a meme, which is this Yakuza game. Wow, the unending bottomless rabbit holes of the internet.
You need to shoot at the enemy? 3. Child support payments? 3. Everything in life can be fixed with just a little bit of drifting. And also the best crew that you can possibly get your hands on. Your crew is going to be who boards with you, fights with you, and ideally the better their rank is, the higher their level will be, and the more, you know what, blah, 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 that's all nerd shit. The most important thing about your crew is collecting all the buxom broads you can get. Am I right or am I right? Here's a few ways you can do that. First, you can demonstrate your value to the chick that runs the dart throwing game.
Oh! Am I wooing you with my prowess?
Oh, Fleek.
Are your loins tingling? Are your loins tingling? Join my crew, please. Oh.
Second, you can do the Love Broker side quest, where you assemble a harem for your good buddy, then quintuply cuck him at the end. Or there's my favorite, handing $5,000 to a busty ninja that works at Taco Bell. How does that get her to join our crew? Well, it's the implication. Now, if you're wondering how you get all the dudes...
Gary Russell Holmes Day!
I wouldn't know, brother. I'm going for a Gaddafi's Guard 2.0 look here. And I gotta say, I don't regret it. This ship's running like a well-oiled machine! It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. Listen, these beefcakes are all gold ranked. Those winches were all silver and bronze. They weren't qualified for the job. The double DEI hires had half my crew under-leveled. If that was a well-oiled machine, it'd be the Delta flight that landed upside down. You know, in the end of the day, it's not that they didn't do their job. It's just that an oiled-up guy could have done it better. Don't believe me? Well, how about we bet on it? Listen, we'll get back to Ubisoft in a second. Let's bet on it. Because if there's one thing I love more than busting ninjas, it's gambling, baby. My therapist came up to me the other day and told me I have a gambling problem. You know what I told him? You want to bet on it? But I don't fuck with all these Japanese card games. Yes. Those make my brain go all mushy like. I tried playing one hand of that OHHHHKAY shit, and here's how that went down. What the fuck is going on? What the hell is happening? Oh, why are there so many cards? Why did they make me the dealer? How did 3 of them just win? Oh, all our money is gone. No, Amber, don't leave. What do you mean our marriage is over? Wow, sunk it. And that's why I stick to American card games, specifically poker. No disrespect to Jack Black, but that's just where I test my luck for the night. See if the gods blessed my landlord with his rent money this month. But as soon as I want to make some real fucking money, it's all about high stakes poker. And I'll tell you how I do it. The first rule of poker is that I always gamble with the house's money, never with my own. And of course, by the house's money, I mean my wife's savings account. Next, open up the official poker rulebook. Good job. Now fold it shut and remember this moment, because that'll be the last time you ever fold again. You don't need to read the rules. Reading is for pussies that don't have a Netflix subscription. The only rule you need to know is raise no matter what. Calling? Come on. I only call my...
Hey, I agree with that. Raise no matter what. I'd much rather raise than fold or call.
Shark when I run out of my queen's money. Drizzle, drizzle. 9 times out of 10, bluffing is all you need to beat your opponent. And all bluffing is betting on a lie. And lying to others is easy if you first master lying to yourself. Are you following me? What I'm saying is this. No.
Oh, that's good. That's good advice for the shills. Lying to others is easy if you first master lying to yourself. That's like a Disney shill.
Knowing the rules is just gonna make lying harder. But if you don't know the rules, you'll think every hand you have is a winning hand. Take this hand, for example. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here. So I raise. Then I raise. Then I raise. Then I raise.
I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, so I raise. Well, he has a gut shot draw to the wheel. Yeah, a 3, he'd have the wheel. Ace to 5 straight. I mean, just as a chaos move, raising with a 5 deuce, you know, once in a while, you could do that, mix it up a little. I got no issue with that. And then you flop a gut straw. You flop a... Mr. Producer. You flop a gut shot, straight draw, ace to 5. What the hell? If nobody's betting, just raise again. You've only got 4 outs.
Again, the only thing I don't...
No, you missed it. No, damn it. He missed the 3. Oh, well. Oh, wait, no, he did. Oh, shit, there's 4 hearts out there. Oh, no, he got the flush. Yes. He rivered a flush with a 5 of hearts. Now, that's a pretty low flush, though. You're in trouble if there's anything higher than a 5 of hearts in those hole cards.
These are my kids. Boom, I win 50,000. Everyone's in shock. My dick's so hard.
Oh, that's perfect. That's just perfect. It's just like the poker players I play. You raised pre-flop with a 5-2? What the hell? Well, I won, didn't I? Oh, damn it! Ah!
It's tipping the table. As for what happens that other 1 time out of 10 where someone doesn't fall for the bluff because he has a full house or a straight or a 1 pair or something, well, that's where we lose everything and kidnap that man in the parking lot later tonight. That's right, I nab his ass and I start a hostage negotiation with the police. When they tell me, if you do anything stupid, our snipers will riddle you with 100 bullets. I raise. I say make it 110 bullets. They don't know who they're talking to. They fold. They go home. They leave me with the hostages. They're too scared of that expert gambler like me. Anyways, just don't overthink this shit. The story of this game, funnily ironically enough, starts the same way the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does. Majima hits his head, forgets his entire past, but where the two games separate their paths is that after you hit your head in Kingdom Come, you go,
Chicks? No. I'm into dudes.
whereas in Pirate Yakuza, Majima decides to become a pirate. Now, if you can believe it, I actually hit my head pretty hard after finishing this game, therefore I also don't remember a goddamn thing about this story. So instead, how about this? Whip your cock out. Come on, don't be shy. Let's go head to head. Cock to cock. And buddy, when this night ends, you're gonna give me all the cash in your wallet with a big smile on your face knowing I just fucked you real good. On the racetrack. The cock racing racetrack. While all you fools have been playing Avowed, Saints Row, and Suicide Squad.
Seriously though, I, with all due respect to Mr. Fleek, a game that is completely just all mini games is like the Seventh Circle of Hell to me. I hate mini games. I skip the mini games. I hate the mini games in Mass Effect. Most of them. Are there any mini games in Mass Effect I like? I like the combat simulators, and that's sort of a mini game. That's pretty much it. I don't think I like any of the other mini games.
Honing in my cock racing skills for the last 3 years. You see that? I'm rich. You see that? I just lost everything. But that's okay, because now I'm gonna go find a champion cock. One that dwarfs all these little micro cocks, and he's gonna win me every single race in this godforsaken game, or he's gonna make one hell of a bucket combo. Listen, I gotta go. I've already installed all my monstrous memory mods. Remember, I'm always 2 cups ahead.
Y'all, get ready, man. Next week is about to be crazy. Oh, man. Wait till y'all see what happens next week, man. Oh, man.
Thanks to the flock of pimps for bankrolling this video. And
He calls, I call my audience the Sailors and Star Nuts. Fleekazoid calls his the flock of pimps. I mean, what am I even doing here? The flock of pimps. I'm just too vanilla for this gig. But we'll see. Redoubt Production says, the creed of the shill, lie to oneself before lying to the masses. I mean, perhaps. It's my theory. I think it's a good enough theory. Crowbar the Skull saying, that's the shill's creed. Redoubt Production says, I mean, Yakuza looks entertaining at least. Can't say the same about Assassin's Creed. Yeah, it's AAA gaming they're just going to have to get serious. They're just going to have to get serious about good games again. And that's pretty much it. That's too much, Mr. Producer. Back it off, back it off, back it off. There we go. Well, that is our show, my dear sailors and star knots. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's the one. There it is. Sorry, I'm trying. The music's too loud. We're working on OBS, okay? Mr. Producer does what he can. But, you're only as smart as your leadership in a massive organization such as ours. Wrangler says, have a great week, everybody. God bless, Wrangler. Crowbar the Skull, thank you, Captain. Thank you, Crowbar. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Staff Hide, Fu Man Blue, Redoubt Productions, Tom. I know you're out there, Tom. Universal. And anyone I have forgotten to mention. Well, that is our Captain's Cast. March the 9th, the year of our Lord, 2025. Just here having fun. More videos on the way, my dear sailors and star nuts. Daredevil videos and more besides. I'm even going to dip my toe in the shorts, so to speak. All right. I am Captain Garrett, and I will see you next time out there.